Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, it's going. Oh, I've got Price playing in my other ear. Oh, a stream
What does
open
that
on the
mean?
oh no, I had your I had the stream open in another tab. I
Ah,
hadn't
that
muted.
happens to me. Oh, that happens to me more than you think.
Yeah. This one was really loud. I must have had YouTube turned way up earlier.
So by the way, I was telling you right before the stream, today, in my video, you had a
Yeah.
special graphic. Like I sat and actually like incorporated you via graphic, but since you were like washing dishes while watching it or whatever you were doing, you didn't actually look. You missed the graphic. It was
Well,
the
I
best
will have to
part.
check it out again. Yes.
It was honestly, it was so weird because it was something that like in my video that took about 2 seconds. I invested more time probably in that too. Not that I invested a ton of time, but I probably invested more thought in those 2 seconds than much longer stretches of the video.
Well, now I feel really bad that I didn't see it. I
Well,
did, although I do thoroughly enjoy all of the characters with derpy looks on their faces. Don't think about it. Because I mean, literally, if you took 2 seconds to consider anything that was happening in the episode, you'd be like, what?
it doesn't make any sense. It's so
No.
dumb.
It's
But
bad.
wait a second. We do
So
have some
bad.
gift here.
We did receive a nice little
Let
gift.
me highlight this gift of 5 memberships from Dutch Gradient. I want to highlight this. Give me a second. And yeah, I'm not going to show the whole video, but I will find that part and make you look at the artwork that I did. It's such a blink and you miss it thing, but I was so happy. Like I don't know why. It's the you know why I was happy? Because the show is so stupid that was the only thing that I enjoyed doing because it was at least fun. All the rest is just like it's
I do
miserable.
enjoy all the little AI pictures of you sitting around like drinking.
Yeah, no, those are fun, but this one was like, this is it. I want to show it to you, and I think you're gonna have a laugh. But let's see for a second. Dutch Gradient sent 5 Price of Reason Live gift memberships. So first of all, thank you very much. And the people that received it, I see that Rotten Roll got one.
Yeah.
Fenry Fire 18 got one. Fenry Fire something 18. George Lucas Tainted Legacy received one. Thomas Navin 4405 received one. Chekhov's Scream received one too. Nice. Thank you so
Very
much.
nice.
That's very, very kind of you. And nice to see some lurkers that got
Yeah.
that
I
got
will say, Price, I'm interested. They've made a few updates to Rumble Studio, which we use for the show because Rumble is the home of the Night Owl.
it is.
But it looks like now gifts, and I guess we'll find out later if the super chats are showing up, but the gift shows up in our list of chats on Rumble Studio. So I think you can highlight it from here.
I think that you spoke too soon. I can't highlight it.
Oh, you can't highlight it. Okay.
Let me see. I can highlight comments, but I can't highlight that. But it's okay. We'll highlight it our own way.
Well, that's fine. I thought maybe we might have been spared 5 seconds of.
No, it's okay. Listen, they
fine.
keep improving this thing all the time. Just today, we saw some improvements, and they're always making it better. So, it's cool. This is also a very personal way that we get to share with people that we're like really highlighting. It's it's a positive thing at the end of the day. And then let me see if I can find that thing that I wanted to show you. I won't. I'll
Well,
find
sure.
the actual. Let me see if it's here.
I did like the guy in your comments who was offended, who was a Romanian who was offended that his country might have anything to do with this show.
You know what? I've had a few people that said they were Romanians, and usually it's like it's either one way or the other. There was one that actually wrote a comment and said, "Hey, like, why aren't you talking about Romania again?" Because like that person liked it that I said there was a Romanian nightclub, and then you have the other ones. They're like, "How dare you say that it's a Romanian nightclub?" So I can't win, you know?
Nope.
Okay. So I'm gonna spare everybody this whole thing. I'm just gonna leave it a few seconds before. Are you ready?
Let's see it.
See, this is a special like tribute that a little kind of almost Easter egg for the professor that I put in my video. But it is a blink and you missed it, and I think that he missed it. So I'm gonna show everybody here what I did. Let's see. Can you hear it? Did you hear it?
Uh, no, I didn't hear anything.
You didn't
Do you
hear
know if
it?
the? No, I didn't hear anything. I don't know if the audio is being shared.
You didn't hear anything?
Nope. Yeah,
Oh,
try sharing it again. See if we can get the
oh no,
audio going.
professor. Okay. Let's see if it works now.
More seriously, because quite honestly, the show.
Did you hear it?
Oh, I did hear it that time. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this is something I did for the professor in my video that he missed, and it's a little Easter egg. We're not going to watch the whole video. We're going to watch 20 seconds of it just so I can show him. Are you ready, professor?
Okay.
When the series tries to suddenly take itself more seriously, because quite honestly, the show simply hasn't earned that type of shift in tone from its viewers. And I use the term viewers rather loosely here because, with the exception of Nerdrotic, Disparu, Professor R2, and myself, I'm not even watching this sorry excuse for a show. But
Did
before
you
we
catch
dive
it,
in, if
professor?
you're
Oh
not
yes, I saw that
going
time.
to watch my reviews and haven't
I'll find if I could just freeze it on it.
I'm not even sure anybody is actual type of shift in
It's so
tone from
quick
its
that
viewers.
nobody even
and I
like
use the term
realizes what I
viewers
did here. I'll mute it. It's so quick, nobody appreciates it. It was like a blink and you missed it. There was one with Gary and and Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
I don't know why that was funny. Then we have Disparu on a date with Rachel Zegler. Then we have you at Hooters.
At Hooters. Wow.
Let's see for a second if I can. How do I do this?
Zoom in and enhance. Well,
No, I wanted to show you. Okay, I don't know if you can see it better now. You had like wings there. Let me see if I can show you.
I
For
do love
some
me some
reason, it's not
wings.
showing well, but you have like wings and a drink, and it's just kind of funny. And then the final one. Let me see. Yeah, that's me.
Yes.
So I'm the one with I'm the one with Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney. Yep.
This was good. I think that we had better setups than both Gary and Disparu, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I feel the worst for Disparu. Really. Like Rachel Zegler. Like that's a rough night out right there.
It is. It is. It's like no matter what happens, it's like that type of person that will never learn a lesson. There's no lesson to be learned. The movie didn't do well. It's people are bad. People are bad, and she'll continue her own like nonsense. She's done nothing wrong. She'll never do anything wrong, accepts no responsibility for anything. Because
Yep.
even now, like in the past few days, you've seen interviews, and you know what? I hate to be like producer Patrick, but right here on the Night Owl, just a little bit ago, we had that little ceremony that most people didn't even see that video until I showed it. It wasn't a lot, like didn't appear a lot in the news, the actual video, and I showed you that the second they gave her an award, she's still Rachel Zegler, meaning she's keeping a low profile, but the second they gave her that award, she came out being the exact like insufferable person that she is. And it's the same when she did this new interview now that she started saying, oh, like, people, the casting and the diversity. Shut up. Like, it doesn't help that you didn't like the thing. I mean, personally, I think that in Snow White's case, you probably should cast somebody that's probably right for it. But I think that if she would at least like super likable and like, had like a good attitude, I think that would have helped her some. She did not help that movie at all. It was a terrible movie regardless. I have to be fair. I don't know that she could have saved that movie, but she's not a nice person. She's not likable. She didn't help the
No,
movie, let's put it that way.
no.
I'll put it this way. The Little Mermaid, the actress playing the lead role, she didn't go antagonize everybody. At the end of the day, that movie was also, in my opinion, it lost money, but it lost less than Snow White.
Oh, sure.
Meaning,
Yeah.
she didn't antagonize people. Some people went to see it. It underperformed, but it wasn't like the type of disaster like the kind with Rachel Zegler and Snow White. That one lost significantly more money. Even The Little Mermaid was ill-advised, but the conversation wasn't that everybody hated that Halle Bailey girl. Like, I never had anything against Halle Bailey. I said even in my review that, she seems nice. She didn't do anything bad to anybody, and she's just like singing her songs. Like, I don't blame her because she was given an opportunity and she was excited to do it. I don't necessarily agree with that casting. And you know what? Beyond even the casting, the movie was also annoying. Like, there were a lot of changes from the animated one to be more PC. It was a terrible movie, but all of that is like it pales in comparison to what happened with Zegler, who was in everybody's faces, and that must have hurt the bottom line at the end. It didn't
Absolutely.
help,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Not at all. But yeah, well, no, I don't have anything else to say. I will say this: poor Disparu. It's one of those situations where you're on a date and you're like, no matter what you do, you're screwed, right? It's like if you pay for dinner, then you're a misogynist because you're saying she didn't think she could pay for her own dinner. If you don't pay for dinner, then you're going to be the asshole because you didn't offer to pay for dinner. It's just it's the whole evening's going to go that way, right? It's kind of written out for you.
Well, he seems pretty happy in the picture. He seems happier here than I've seen him in a long time, actually.
They
But I
they
do.
they're probably both wasted. That's why. That's their.
No, maybe he's telling her about all the views he got on his Snow White videos. Rachel, I'm telling you, it was the best thing that happened to my channel. I do wonder what Gary would say to Bon Jovi. Where was that one? I want this to be a reality. I want like a real photo of this. This
That's
needs
funny.
to happen. This meeting of the minds.
Yes. We need to see them together.
So that was that. That was a little Easter egg, the little Professor R2 Easter egg that we had there. Yeah, Yaitis is right. Probably his videos got more views than the movie itself. They're making a Bon Jovi biopic. I saw something like that today. I don't really know why they're making it. To be honest, like John Bon Jovi was like, I think that his story, of course, they'll try to make it interesting. His story kind of bores me because a lot of times you have situations where you have like a band that, like, got together as a band and did all this stuff. With John Bon Jovi, he kind of was able to secure himself some kind of deal, and then he sort of put the band around him. They were just supposed to kind of be in the background. They were guns for hire, basically. I think that until today, like Bon Jovi is Bon Jovi. Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of the people around him kind of work as hired guns. That may have led, Ritchie Sambora to leave at some point. I don't know. I mean, I'll say this about Bon Jovi: their songs are very cheesy, and I don't think that they would fall under the category of like super high quality rock, but they have some nostalgia. There's a few songs in the 80s that, at least you hear them and I associate them with a certain time period. They're there doing whatever they do. And the other thing I'll say is that when it comes to, singing and playing instruments, Richie Sambora is not a bad guitar player. And I even dare say, like, I don't know today, like he's had a lot of issues with his voice and things like that. But in his youth, John Bon Jovi could carry a tune. It's just somehow the level of potential that he has with his voice and the musicians around him, and then at the end the music that you get, there's just a really big discrepancy. Do you get what I'm saying, Professor?
Yes.
Meaning, in some other timeline or setup or whatever you want to call it, there could have been a situation where maybe they would have been a better band. I don't know if maybe they're just not like great at writing music. They're not like great songwriters. I don't really know what it is, or they just like cheesy stuff. It's hard for me to really explain it, but it's a strange situation because as a musician, I can't completely dismiss them and say, "Oh, they're amateurs. They can't play music." It's just that their music is kind of cheesy. I don't know how they pulled that off, and it's supposed to be like this kind of hard, like rock and roll, but somehow it's still cheesy. Strange, very
It
very
it
strange,
it
Professor.
is. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cheesy stuff. It's
Oh, the Van Halen. Somebody said the
doesn't
Van Halen
feel
story is more interesting.
yeah, it
Van
doesn't feel
Halen.
serious.
Van Halen. I imagine that you couldn't make a movie about it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like in our day and age, I have a feeling that those.
Might be a little too racy for Gen Z and Gen Alpha,
Yeah,
perhaps.
I have a feeling that there's like crazy things happening with like many women and recreational activities and alcohol. I feel like this would be like a wild ongoing party. The Van Halen, especially like in those early days, you could make a movie like that, but I feel like in our day and age, it would cause more trouble than it's worth.
Gotcha.
That's what I think. I don't know. I could be
Yeah.
wrong. Maybe it was all just like people misunderstood, and behind closed doors they would play like chess with each other. But I don't think that that's what they did. And the professor is gone. I said Van Halen did naughty things, and he immediately left. Maybe he was a member of Van Halen.
Oh,
He doesn't want
something
me to dox him.
no, something in my browser just reset. It was weird.
I see.
Yep.
Uh,
I am trying out a different browser, and so I don't know, maybe something's going on there.
Disfru roboting on FNT was the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. I think I missed that. I didn't catch that, I guess. I sometimes I don't dislike FNT, but it is a very long show. Sometimes
Mhm.
I don't have like all the window. I maybe tune into some of it or hear a few things they say, but I don't always listen to the whole thing, unfortunately. Like I said, it is a very long show. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I mean, this is a long show too, the one that we're on, but between making videos, other, obligations that I have outside of the internet and yeah, I like I said, but I like those guys generally. Like I like them, and there have been times that I have listened, more extensively. I guess I
Sure.
just missed
Sure.
whatever that roboting thing was. Have to catch up on it. Disprove sounded like robotic RFK. That's very strange.
Fascinating.
Eddie Van R2. Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't sound like Eddie Van Halen, so I don't think, and he doesn't really sound like David Lee Roth either.
No.
But
No.
yeah, I mean, the thing is that that's the one thing I can say. It's not like David Lee Roth had the best voice, but when you hear Van Halen and you just hear him come out and sing his songs, you could feel the vibe. That's what musicians and these kind of bands used to have that you don't have today. You have these guys that are living the lifestyle of like wild times, being like crazy, doing all this kind of excessive stuff, and when they grab their instruments or the mic and they sing or they play music or whatever, somehow you feel that energy. You feel that kind of like badass vibe. I'm not saying maybe it isn't the lifestyle that's good for everybody. In a lot of cases, this kind of lifestyle took its toll on a lot of these musicians, but they're living that lifestyle and they're bringing some of that energy when they sing, when they write music, when they perform it. And today it's the opposite. That's why everything sounds like laundry detergent commercials because you don't have that anymore. You don't have that situation where like a band is unknown, nobody's heard of them, and there's no internet to play like your music. There's no all these different things. you have to go and you have to put together a band in your garage, and then you have to start like performing in places and struggling to like perform on, anywhere, any place that'll let you do it. And then like, you do these shows in front of like 50 people, 100 people, and you're just trying to build some kind of audience. And I was in that situation. So yeah, I mean, I didn't end up like, Van Halen or any of those things, but there's something about that process of being in that situation, and it's very different than these people and what they do today. And you know what? Whatever I did, and it doesn't matter my level of success or lack of success, what I did, it builds character. You know what I mean? Like you're actually trying to do something on your own. You're trying to build something. These guys today, it's all crappy. Uh, I blame, between maybe file sharing caused problems for the record labels, so they wanted to play it safe. I blame that. I blame like Britney Spears. I've said it before. Don't have anything personal against her, but she's partially responsible for this whole situation. I blame those American Idols. American Idol is a terrible show. American Idol, I think, did a lot of damage.
Oh,
The Voice is pretty
yeah,
bad too. I mean, I'm not hating on anybody. At the end of the day today, if you want to be, successful, you have to go sometimes to those shows. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying that I think that those shows brought something negative. They put an emphasis between the record labels and their merchandising and their like, building brands rather than musicians, and between these kind of American Idol and whatever, it's sort of no longer who the cool artist is. It's more like who can just like do what they're told. Who can
sure.
like, and there's a difference between a guy that can come out and hit all the notes. Like David Lee Roth probably hit like 50% of his notes. He hits them, and 50% I don't even know if he's in the right direction. But none of that matters when he sings like Van Halen songs, because like if you're listening to that thinking that you're going to get like a Broadway musical performance from a singer, then you're not listening to the right band. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And that's the problem, that the people that go to these kind of The Voice and whatever, they're usually those type of more like, they can go to Broadway and sing, but going to Broadway and sing it's fine. It's fine if you can do that. It's just not, that's not cool. That's why like the music is lame now, Professor. We hear shitty music.
It's
Sorry,
all,
Sean.
yeah, it's all lame. It's all terrible. It's all like, oh, follow this formula and do it this way and whatever. And then it's just overproduced. It's an overproduced mess.
Oh, Rhonda Nefero says war with Iran, Star Trek. Well, we were
Yeah,
trying to. How did we
we'll
get to
get
this?
there.
All this other
We'll get
stuff.
there.
We
Yeah.
completely blew it, Professor.
No, we get there. It's fine. It's late at night, and
It's about the image, not the
we
music.
meander around.
We meander around. People that listen to this show know that they're going to get just a bit of meandering, and so yeah, I guess there's this war with Iran. The reason I put it on the thumbnail is that it kind of seems like initially Trump had a lot of stuff that he was saying, a lot of like, declaring this, declaring that. But I kind of feel like, in the past day or two, he's sort of been a little more, people keep saying that maybe he's looking to like, put a stop to it and kind of end it. I don't really know. What do you think?
Well, I don't think that he's going to, end it right away. He's made a few different statements, essentially saying that they had some specific goals, right? And specifically, they do not want them to be able to manufacture a nuclear weapon. They also said that they want to severely degrade the capabilities of it threatening, its neighbors in the region, including Israel and including other countries as well. And so that meant taking out a lot of the ballistic missile capabilities that they were building, and that the ballistic missiles, destroying those actually goes along with, removing the threat of nuclear weapons, because they were building up a massive arsenal specifically so that they could protect themselves from any kind of attack, any kind of invasion that would stop their production of the enriched uranium and producing a nuclear weapon, whatever. It's all of a piece, right? It's all happening together. Oh, well, that's an interesting email. I'll talk about that in a minute. Sorry.
What happened?
Got distracted. My Enterprise has shipped.
Is
My
that a
the
metaphor?
I purchased one of the Tomy Enterprises, the $800 giant die-cast Enterprise models from Tomy that they produced last year, and actually over a year now, and mine has shipped. So exciting.
I have something of a confession.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest story, but it is Star Trek related and kind of reminds me what you're talking about. Before we do that, uh, so there's a few developments. First of all, the real head case with 199 says, Super Chat says, thing against Britney Spears, she went too hard and still. I'm not sure I understand what that means.
Looks like there was supposed to be an emoji in there. What was the emoji that you had in there, Ed Case? Because it got messed up in the
Let me see.
it got messed up in the chat.
Let me see if I
in
can
the super
find
chat.
this. It was. Yeah, I don't really know what it means.
Yeah, that's
but
what that little OBJ thing is. There was an emoji in there, but it can't be displayed by.
Let me see
by
if
the chat.
I can recover it.
It's a real head case says Britney Spears is still going hard because she did drugs for too long. Still,
Okay.
she went too hard on the pills, I think.
I understand.
Yeah, and
I thought it was meant like her music went hard, and I'm like, well, I don't know about that, bro.
She went hard on the old pills and other things, and it has not gone well for her. Yeah, man, she's definitely crashing out again. If you've seen, some of the stuff that's been happening, she's been posting increasingly more unhinged videos of her dancing on TikTok and whatever. And then she got a DUI the other day. Yeah, she's. There was the whole the Save Britney crowd, right? Free Britney crowd that was out there trying to, she should be let out of her conservatorship. She's just being abused, whatever. And then, they got her out of that. And then now she's right back into the boozing and the drugs and everything.
I'll say this. It is two things can be true. It could be that her father that was put in charge of her finances and all her stuff, maybe the guy was like being a little too generous with himself or whatever they were saying. It doesn't mean that idea didn't have merit, but at the same time saying, well, he may be pocketing some money, so like let's just let her do whatever she wants. Maybe that wasn't right either. Honestly, a lot of those kids, and we see it time and time again, a lot of those child actors, child singers, whatever it is, they kind of go off the rails, unfortunately. She, from a young age, was kind of pushed, from one place to another. It's you don't realize it while it's happening, but a lot of like kids essentially they don't have the tools. We recently even saw, like, I'm not saying, listen, anybody could be, any of us talking now could get like stopped for a DUI or whatever it is. Like, I'm not saying that could never happen to anybody, but look that Justin Timberlake had some issues himself. Even he, also from the same kind of background, the kid thing, the kid that they were both on like Mickey Mouse or whatever it is. And between you and me, that the fact that like that generation of like quote unquote top tier talent is people that came from the Mickey Mouse Club really shows you sort of the shift in what happened to music. In any case, I understand what you're saying. The real head case. I don't have anything personal against Britney Spears. Not like I sit around hating her, but I don't think she helped music, and I don't think music helped her. At the end of the day, it was mutually not beneficial at the end of the day. But we have Dutch Gradient that, in addition to his original 5 Price of Reason Live gift memberships, he's given 10 and then another 5. So together, this is 20 Price of Reason Live memberships, which is extremely generous. Super nice of you, man. It's not only nice, it's not only a nice gift for me, but also you're giving the gift of reason to other people.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very, very kind. Thank you.
I always wanted to say that.
We got a few recognizable names in there this time. Nick Weiser got one.
Let's see. Let's see.
Jamalama and Clobberin Times got one. Rest in peace, Clobby.
Oh man, that kind of makes me sad. You know what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. I'll just say this, that I wish he was here to receive that gift.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel bad for him that this is the gift that he got, but I would still be happy that he would be here to get it, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
It's so strange, you know. We sometimes talk about him. I did so many streams with a guy, and just one day he was gone. It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
it was so sudden with him. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. You know, I mean, those kind of things happen. That, you know, but yeah, it was very sudden. It was very sad too. You know, he had such an amazing community, and you know, he was just such a fun guy to be
He
around, to
was.
hang with.
He was like
And yeah, it was
I would
sad.
say that he was like I don't know, a streamer's streamer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like sometimes
Oh
there's
yeah,
like a comedian,
he
they're
was
like, oh,
he was a yeah
they're
he
like,
was
oh, it's a
a
comedian's comedian, or he's an actor's actor. So I think that
yeah
like he was like a YouTuber's YouTuber. Like he was
yeah
this cool guy that just had so much knowledge, and he was always just so composed and very kind of relaxed about it. Brought this very kind of calm demeanor that could easily be taken for granted. Uh, you know, doesn't you know, didn't blab every second, but when he had something to say, he said it, and and usually you like to hear what the guy had to say. So I don't know. I still you know, that one still, when I think about it, bothers me. But I it's not that there was anything that anybody could have done. It's just
no
like I said, it felt so sudden, and yeah, like you said, it happens sometimes, but I don't know.
yeah. Oh, we didn't need, Dutch gave us another super chat.
Okay, let me see.
We'll
I
get
think
to it
there's
here in a
more
sec.
stuff going on
We
here.
got, let's see, we got the Spears thing, the gifts. Yeah, there's a few more super chats in here too. There's a super sticker
Oh no,
from
Dutch Gradient. You know
Karate
what?
Werewolf.
You're I wanna say something to Dutch here.
Yeah.
I am gonna bring this up now. Where are you, Dutch? So Dutch says, uh, he said, I'll read the other two in a second. But he said, "Oh dang, sorry, my gift brought up such sorrow. It didn't bring up sorrow. First of all, anything that causes us to mention Klobby and remember him is great. You know, it's not. I don't see this as a sorrow at all. I think it's nice that from time to time we kind of, you know, we show him some respect, and this happening was kind of a little thing, that a little opportunity for us to do it, which we don't always get.
Yep.
So I absolutely, it's not sorrow. Me talking about a guy who was awesome, who's not with us anymore, and
Yep.
showing him respect. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that at all. So
Yep. And there's a, you know, Phantom Outsider, who of course Phantom, you know, or Fanty, as as Klobby like to call him, who was around lots of Klobby's streams. I saw him there all the time. He says, remembering Klobby is good memories. He was a great human being.
Yep.
And he also said Klobby was everywhere. He streamed on his own channel and guested everywhere. A day without Klobby streaming was a rarity. Yeah. And yeah, he was a great guy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's not.
Don't
It's not
worry
sad
at
at
all. Like there was
It's
nothing bad.
yeah.
Nothing
It's
bad. John
it's
Davidson said
sad.
no. Yeah.
It's sad because we have to remember that he's not here, but at the same time, it gives us an opportunity to remember what a great guy Klobby was, and
Absolutely.
how much we miss him. So yeah, no, it's not sad at all. It's you know, going,
No,
it's
no,
getting
it
to
wasn't. It
getting a
wasn't. You
chance
didn't do
to,
anything bad. Trust me.
yeah, getting
Uh,
a chance to go back and remember a guy who's worth remembering.
I wish
I
I could
s-
do that more. It's just it
yeah.
doesn't always, you know, come up. But once it does, once in a while, I think the response is not from us, not only from us, but from the people listening, usually anybody that, crossed paths with him or heard his streams felt the same way.
Yeah.
We do
The other
have
day, I was recommended one of his streams. It was in my
wow.
recommendations, and I was like, "Well, damn, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch it because, God, just miss him so much." And yeah, I went back. It was recommended like as a rewatch. It was one I had seen long ago that he did, ranking all of the episodes of the original series of Star Trek. And so I listened to that. It was great.
Wow, maybe I'll listen to that at some point. I don't know if I've ever heard that one.
He's very opinionated. Let's just put it that way. As he was often.
I'm sure. I'm sure of it, but that's what would make it interesting. I'd be really happy to hear it. We also have a few other super chats. We have the Karate Werewolf for $3, who has this kind of Shibu Inu thing that says, "How's it going?" Well, it's going fine, Karate Werewolf. Thank you for the super chat. And then we have the Deadman 79, Nerdrotic, put it out of its misery, 530 mark. I guess you're referring to that roboting thing with Disprove. I will have to check that out. So I will check it out. It sounds funny. And I like Disprove, so I will absolutely check it out. Back to what we were... I don't even know how we got here. We had a few things that we were talking about. Oh, there's a war. There's a war in Iran.
Yeah. As I was saying, I don't think that there's just going to be like a, well, we're done, and then just kind of, walk away kind of a thing, next week. I think that they're going to say, they have particular objectives, and things, change on the ground over time as, some objectives are more effective than others. They have been talking. There were some stories today talking about how many people have been injured. Service members and stuff have been injured or lost their lives. And I thought it was interesting because there were, some articles that were very clearly just kind of stating, look, there was been 140 or something, total casualties. 108 of those were minor injuries. Those people are already back on duty. There's only a handful of those that are still, no longer, have been removed from active duty because of their injuries. And there's, only been a handful of, I think the total number is up to 7 deaths. Now, all of those have been because of Iranian weapons that have been targeted on different facilities.
Right. It's actually, I think, people that were in Bahrain or one of those other things. Like they weren't actually in. It wasn't the people engaging in whatever's happening in Iran. It's just that Iran retaliated and started sending, sending missiles in a lot of different places. And in a way, I mean, this very thing kind of proves an issue. This very attack proves an issue because considering how indiscriminately Iran, the second that they saw they were being attacked, they were just firing wherever. They don't care. They hit people. They don't hit people. They hit this. They hit that. They just started firing in places that people didn't even think that they would fire to. They're just firing all over the place. And there's something about that mentality and giving a country like that all these missiles that I can understand why this is an issue. You know what I mean? I also will say this. They've improved with their missiles. Like it used to be, and this is all they've dedicated everything for the past, like, I don't know how many decades. All they do is this stupid missile. Them liking having missiles so they can drop on people.
Yeah.
And these ballistic missiles, some of them are no joke. You know what I mean? These are not.
Yeah. Well, and remember, the whole point of that is of a ballistic missile is to be able to deliver a warhead. The further that ballistic missile can go, the further they can project that power. And depending on the ballistic missile, you can put different warheads on it, including ones that make mushroom clouds. Right. And that's the whole point, is making sure that they did not have that capability, because literally, if you go back and you look and you read and you learn about the things that the Ayatollahs have said, but both the first one and the most, Well, I wouldn't say the most recent one. The next to most recent one, since he was, removed from this earth in just the recent weeks. But if you listen to what they said, essentially they have like a death cult, like an Armageddon vision of, we're going to be able to gain these nuclear weapons, and then we're going to be able to bring about the end of the world, kind of a thing. It's wild, and this is. This is something that as many people have said, including Donald Trump, but others as well, have said, we just can't let that happen. We cannot let these people have a nuclear weapon. And so so far, honestly, it's hilarious that they even call this a war. I think people want to call it that to blow it into something that it is not. This has been massively one-sided. Yes, there have been retaliatory strikes from Iran. Those have been dropping precipitously every single day. I think they said yesterday attacks were down 90% from the day before, and they continue to drop as our armed forces and Israelis continue to go in and remove their capabilities to launch weapons, to launch drones, and remove their capabilities to manufacture them. So, if they can't make more, well, then the stockpile they have is it. And we're also destroying their stockpiles.
But I will say this. Okay, so something like this, what's happening, it probably is a setback for that country. But if you're still going to have more of those, more of the same when it comes to the leadership, what usually happens in situations like that is that, sure, maybe you'll have a few years of quiet, but don't think that they're not going to immediately try to restore anything that they can do to continue to just do these missiles, because that's what they like to do. It's very strange. I told you this. You have different countries that want to do different things. Iran, their dream, they just want all those missiles all the time. It's like it's so yeah, fine. I guess it's a setback, but first of all, even with the setback, they haven't managed to get rid of all of it. They're still firing around indiscriminately missiles. It's just they have a lot less to fire. But it's still, the fact that they still have any is kind of annoying. They're also that whole Strait of Hormuz or whatever it is, they're doing that annoying thing. I don't know. I'm going to say something that I really think that perhaps not only should it all goes back to Jimmy Carter. I hate that I always mention him, but I feel like when all that stuff happened, then that's when action needed to be taken immediately.
Yeah, it
Giving them
should have.
giving
Yeah.
them 50 years, almost 50 years to put together this system that they have in place, even if it's now been severely weakened, letting them even get these 50 years of doing whatever they do, I think was a mistake. I don't know. It
Yeah.
all anytime that I think of Jimmy Carter's presidency, I mean, I wasn't around, I wasn't really around during that time, but you know what I'm saying? That guy was an awful president. Sorry, I know he spent time with his family, whatever. He's a good man, blah, blah, blah. Fine, whatever. I didn't know the guy. Said he was a good man. I take your word for it.
Well, there's a difference between being a good man and being a good president. I mean, genuinely. So
Also, when you're such a bad president, it's hard for me to focus on how good of a man you are. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When your decisions have made so many bad things happen, and can really be looked at in history, and you look at that and you're like, that's that moment where so many bad things happen. So,
Yep. Yeah.
Rob Alka says he also stabbed
Yeah.
Taiwan in the bank. He was awful. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was honestly, maybe in the modern era, it has to be the worst. People say that there were bad ones. We've talked about this before. We can go back hundreds of years or whatever. But in the more modern era, I still think that Jimmy Carter is probably the number one. Maybe Joe Biden can give him a run for his money.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
no question. No
Christian,
question.
I'm sure, agrees that
Yep.
Jimmy Carter wasn't a good president. I doubt it. She probably loves him. I think Jimmy Carter is like the best thing that ever happened to.
I think Christian Amanpour agrees about the attacks on Iran, like that they they could not be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. And we've got a couple of people were pointing out that in the most recent in some of the most recent talks with them, they essentially said, we've got enough nuclear material to make like 11 weapons. Like, so back the hell off. Like, get out of our backyard, leave us alone. We've got enough, we're not going to obey any sanctions. We're not going to allow you to do any kind of enforcement, inspections, any of that stuff. We've got what we want, and suck it, basically. And that was not okay. With if it had been Joe Biden, he would have walked away and said, can we give you some money or something to stop making nuclear weapons? What can we do to make you happy so you don't make nuclear weapons? Which is what they've tried, the appeasement that this has been tried for decades, and it doesn't work. So thankfully we had a president who said, nope, we're not doing that. You're not going to have nuclear weapons. And so they work together with Israel. Israel also has been very, very very, very straightforward about Iran will not have nuclear weapons, because the first people they would use them on would be Israel, right? And so we're not going to allow that. And so we put together an incredible plan that has so far been, as anyone honest can claim, incredibly effective. It basically very, very minimal damage to our resources, despite all the propaganda that's been coming out from them trying to say they've destroyed 2 air bases and 14 aircraft and all this stuff. It's like, there's absolutely no evidence that Iran has destroyed any of those things.
No, most of their stuff they do
It's
like
nonsense.
weird AI. There's so much deception, and there's so much annoying, their whole, I don't know, the whole thing just annoys me. They're always like, they're the victim. What are you a victim of? You're like, you're the worst. It's just like, first of all, Rob Altus says Joe Biden was ineffective, but Carter caused more damage. You know what? I'll say this. I think that outside of U.S. soil, when it comes to like foreign relations or foreign decisions, I think that Carter was awful. And I think that Joe Biden, when it came to like internal stuff, also foreign stuff, he wasn't great, but internal stuff, like letting, so many millions of immigrants in with unchecked and whatever, that'll go, down. That's something that happened under his watch. So I think that, each of them is going to have something that'll be like attributed to him. But yeah, I still think that if I had to do like a boxing match between both of them, I think Carter wins as like the worst one.
Yep.
So wait, somebody said no. The dead man says Christiana Amanpour. She agreed with Trump as well as a former, even though she's a former Biden person.
Yeah.
It's strange because she usually loves like the kind of thing that those guys stand for. So it's kind of odd, but hey, surprises happen sometimes. We've seen that happen. We've also seen the reverse. Like Megyn Kelly like loves the Ayatollah. So who knows?
Yep.
We live in strange times.
Well, you have a couple of super chats, and one of them is a very special request. So you should go check those out.
Let's see. Okay, we have a few of them here. You're right. I'm gonna pull those up right now. Let's see.
Yes, I just said Christian Amanpour. Yeah, she is Persian. She is, she's ethnically Persian from that area, from Iran, and her background, her family is from there, and so yeah, she has some very specific opinions about how things are going over there and what should be done, and yeah, they should not be allowed to continue, and understanding that that while there was a genuine uprising that happened that deposed the Shah and his reign, that the Ayatollahs and all the promises they made were complete lies, and they came in, and rather than making a democracy, came in and completely turned everything on its head by making it a theocracy instead.
Carter fell for the oldest trick in the book.
Mhm.
Tomahawk 511 versus Obama hands down. You know, I think that a lot of I don't know. Obama for me always felt like he didn't do much of anything. Like I don't know if to say like I can't really point out something good that he did. I don't really know so many bad things. It's just like maybe you could find some, but for me, he was just, you know, he was very good at giving speeches, but I'm not sure what else he was even really good at. Like you give him a podium and a teleprompter and a speech, he'll be the best deliverer of that speech. But aside from that, a lot of talk and very little action. That's what I've always felt about Obama. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just the vibe I got. Dutch Gradient. Oh dang! Oh, we already saw that. No, it's cool. We like Klobby. We got to show him some respect. Smilexia for £5 says, "Could Price sing me Happy Birthday?" I have a bit of a sore throat, but let me try. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Smilexia. Happy birthday to you.
Very nice.
It's a late hour and I do have kind of a sore throat. I don't know. I feel like I have either seasonal allergies or I don't know what, but I did my best. In any case, then we had Dutch Gradient. Carter was quote unquote worst, gave away Panama Canal, closed asylums, allowed Iran to be taken by by I'm trying to think of a metaphor for this one, but I understand what you're saying. Stopped our most advanced and cleanest nuclear plants, returned to defectors MiG-25 to USSR, and more. That man just was not presidential material. I agree with you. You know, I think that you'd be hard pressed, even if there's like Democrats that were honest, they'd have to admit that he wasn't a good president. I don't know who could, you know, who could really admit that that guy was a good president. Uh,
Yep.
let me see. I don't know who
No,
was.
don't worry about Big Daddy Porkins. He didn't want to have a conversation, so he's not going to be here anymore.
Ah, I see. I got it.
He just wanted to yell insults into the void. So
Ah, I see.
he's going to go do that somewhere else now.
Well, whatever. I always consider myself a more of a middle of the road kind of guy. I'm never like so like, you know, enthusiastic about anybody, but I try to at least be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I've said this before, and this is my thought again. Trump for me is like kind of a quirky character, and he's not, when I think of presidents, the first person, you know, that would have popped in my mind as like, you know, as the best option for a president. But what I will say is that if you have to kind of think, oh, what's better, a guy that doesn't know what's going on or a guy that at least knows what's going on? I think it's better that the guy, I think it's better that the guy knows what's going on than the guy that doesn't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm a simple
Mm-hmm.
man, Professor.
Yeah.
It has to at least be somebody that knows, like, understands what people are talking to him about. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah. So I don't know where where they're going to be going with the conflict in Iran. I People keep saying, "Oh, they're going to have to put the stupid phrase boots on the ground." No, there's not going to be any soldiers on the ground in Iran. Their goal is one, air superiority, which they have accomplished. They can operate with impunity in the airspace over Iran, and they're doing so and using that to severely degrade their ability to make any kind of weapons and to launch any kind of attacks into neighboring countries. And so that's going to be, that's going to continue. And once they've decided that they've reached, what they want to do, they've taken care of what they want to take care of, then the strikes will cut back. And the hope is that if they've done enough damage, if they've done enough to cause damage to the current regime there, that the people of Iran will be able to move more freely and potentially take back their country. And will that happen? There's no guarantees. There's never any guarantees there that will happen. But that's one of those things where it's really hard to tell whether or not that will actually be the end result, because it just depends on how much power the current regime there is able to hold on to. And if the IRGC is still solidly in power and able to attack basically the populace when there is any kind of protest or anything like that, then it could be very, very difficult for them to take over. But Trump has said one of the few things that he's actually, made statements about as far as the leadership over there is that, basically, well, the attacks are going to continue until you choose leadership that we agree with, or that we can make deals with. Right. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how all this will pan out, but I assume that for many reasons it probably won't go on forever. I
No.
think that they're going to probably try to take out as much strategic locations, and we'll have to see what happens then. Somebody asked me this week. It's funny that somebody asked me, oh, like said Hillary really, like, it's so surprising. Somebody said, because not everybody, like, I'm sort of middle of the road. I think this was a person that was at least I think that it was relatively middle of the road, maybe initially a little more left leaning, but it wasn't a complete, I'd say more of an independent, the person I was talking to. And he was like, oh, it's so surprising that Hillary didn't win. And I said, it doesn't surprise me at all. Hillary Clinton, the second that she in her own primary lost to Barack Obama, who at the time was like considered, nobody thought that he would beat her in the primaries. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Once she couldn't win her own party and he came along with pretty much nothing and like overpowered her pretty easily, I think that was clear that, forget about like what I think or don't think. Let's say now, just in theory, like you're saying, I'm supposed to run the Democratic Party, okay? I didn't ask for this job, okay? I'm just saying, like, I've been tasked with doing it. I see Hillary Clinton losing to Barack Obama. I tell her, listen, you're never running in a primary again. You're done. You know what I'm saying? But because all of their whatever stronghold that they had in the party or whatever, and her big ego, she's like, no, I got to be the first woman. I got to be the first woman. There's a few reasons why I think she couldn't be the first woman president. First of all, I still think that there's a lot of places, especially, that aren't maybe LA and New York City and whatever it is. There's a lot of middle America places that still, I'm not saying that a woman could never be president in the United States, but I think that they're not in a rush to do it. And if they were going to do it, she would not be that woman. One of the reasons for this, and this is just my opinion, is that, she didn't build her own brand. She didn't, like, she hasn't, there are certain politicians that are female politicians that have built their own brand. You know who they are. They made a career for themselves. They're now in Congress, whatever it is that they do. They did that. In the case of Hillary Clinton, her basically career is that she was the first lady. Some would say, well, she helped behind the scenes with Bill Clinton. It's sort of being the wife of the president is not necessarily that thing that people want when they're looking at a president.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a terrible thing to say. Like, I'm a terrible person, Professor, but the bottom line is she is the wife of the president. Now, maybe that was enough. She could be like a senator or whatever it is. That was fine, whatever. But once it's like she's going to be the president, somehow I think that, like, people didn't love that. The other thing is, and this is the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. This is a terrible thing. I'm going to say something terrible. Are you ready, Professor?
Okay.
You know, he was married to her, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But he seemed to kind of like, how do I explain this? It's
With
not a good
euphemisms.
look, like, that he was, like, always looking for the other ladies around him, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Somehow that doesn't add points in the bigger picture, like, all of his scandals and whatever and the cheating, and then, like, some people would be like, "Well, why didn't you do something? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?" I'm not saying that she should've, I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying that that ultimately, somewhere in the back of people's mind, is also that.
True.
Like, it's the type of scandals you don't want tied to yourself, and the final thing, and there's no way around it, she's kind of annoying, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Whether you like Bill Clinton or not, I'll say that, like, especially during his time, outside of the scandals, you put him on a podium or put him in a room, he had this kind of, "Oh, shucks, like, I'm a guy from Arkansas," or whatever it is, and, like, people kind of felt they could relate to him or whatever it is. I don't think she gives off that vibe. I don't think she's ever given her that vibe. She gives the opposite vibe of that. She gives the vibe that, like, you don't relate to her at all, you don't feel a connection to her, and, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you need to win in America and you need all those votes, especially, like, places, like I said, that's not New York or California, you're not gonna win, with that setup. So, she was basically greedy. She was greedy that she wanted to run. She should have not even run. If the Democrats really cared, they would have told her, "You ain't running, lady." Did I
Yeah.
say bad things, Professor?
No, no, no. I do think it is funny though that she did end up kind of being one of the original losers in the oppression Olympics because, she was running, but then oh no, hey, we've got a black man now. So we have to promote him up because
To be fair, and again, I will say this, I don't think very much of him, but I'm saying to be fair, he was a lot more charismatic than her, was able to deliver much better speeches, he
this is
was
true.
younger. He like, it doesn't matter that at the end, like, he got into office, and I don't even know what he did there, but I'm saying, like, if you're just watching just a primary now, if you let me put it this way, just as an observer, if you told me to look at it, and I did observe while it was happening, and I saw him and I saw her, I thought she was done. You know what I mean? I said to myself, like, this guy is like sweeping crowds, they're all excited, and I will still say, he's not my favorite president. He knew how to give a speech, and he used that on the campaign, and it kind of highlighted everything that was wrong with her. And sometimes after you have one like stinging loss like that, sometimes you just gotta understand that you gotta let it go.
Sure.
I think the whole thing was greedy. She was the first lady. She got to be like Congress or whatever. What, you're gonna be the president now? I know I'm an asshole, Professor.
But
What can I do?
it was her turn.
It was her turn. I sound like an asshole. What can I do?
It
Sorry,
was her
Sean.
turn. Oh god, the whole thing was irritating as hell. And yeah, we are all better off from her having never been elected to that office. That's that is for sure.
Uh,
And yes, she and Bill both lots and lots of connections with Island Man,
Island Man.
as
They
we
seem
have
to be
dubbed
good
him.
friends with Island Man. Yes.
Yeah, lots of deals with Island Man.
Right. Hillary also rubbed a lot of women against her when she ridiculed the traditional women with a remark, and she wasn't. She said, "Okay, yeah." Basically, she was mocking like women that were like stand by your man, and then at the end, she tried to do the same thing. Once all those scandals happened, she came off as this kind of hypocrite. She's like, "Well, you made fun of all of that. Now you're doing the thing that you made fun of." Nobody forgets this stuff. And yeah, and again, at the end of the day, all of this wouldn't matter if she had this winning personality that she comes out and everybody just gets pumped. But I feel like she's the opposite of that. You know, some people, I think that they're better if they're behind the scenes. There's certain people. I'll say this about another. I can't believe I'm saying this. This is a late hour. I'm saying nonsense, but I'll tell you this. Reagan, when he was president, I think that George H.W. Bush was a very dominant force behind the scenes. He was the vice president, but I think that, like, behind closed doors, he had a lot to say. But the thing with Reagan is he had this likable vibe about him. He was like America's, like, likable grandpa or whatever you want to call him. I'm not saying he could be badass probably when he wanted to, but he gave that vibe of like this kind of relatable grandpa
Yeah.
guy. I don't know if that's a good way to describe it, but that's kind of the vibe that he gave. He had this kind of good energy, good vibe, and he was very like likable when he spoke.
Yes.
Once Reagan, like, left after a second term, and it was like immediately like George H.W. Bush was elected, you know what happened? George H.W. Bush behind the scenes worked a lot better than George H.W. Bush as like the figurehead,
Yeah.
because you could kind of sense that he was a bit shifty, if you know what I mean.
He blew with the wind a lot too, which is in the end is one of the reasons that he lost.
Blew with the wind?
He would go wherever the political winds were taking him. He wasn't particularly principled when it came to
Right, and
his
again,
political
sometimes that's
stances.
better as a guy, like, behind the scenes. Somehow, like, as the figurehead, as the guy in charge, he didn't give the right vibe. Sometimes people are excel at one thing, and they're not especially, like, the right role for another thing. Kind of like Kathleen Kennedy was good at being, like, 4th in command on a Spielberg production, but she could never be, like, one of the top 3 spots, and she could never be Spielberg. Do you get what I mean?
Oh yes.
Like, that was the maximum. That was, and people are like, "Oh, she has to break the glass ceiling." It wasn't a glass ceiling. It was a merit ceiling. That's the part that, like, Iger never understood, that he was trying to break a ceiling, which was a merit ceiling, pretending it was a glass ceiling. "Look, I appointed a woman, y'all." "Yeah, you're an idiot." Sorry, it's not nice for me to say. But yeah, he's kind of an idiot, in my opinion, of course. Here at Price of Reason, we say opinions. So, thanks to Iger, Kathleen Kennedy was able to break the merit ceiling. Alex Kurtzman didn't even break any ceilings. He's just an idiot. I don't even understand. They gave him an award the other day.
Well, he didn't get the award. He accepted the award on behalf of Star Trek, which personally I think was just offensive enough. I mean, Shatner was there. He
Shatner
should have been
be
the
only
one
getting an award.
affecting
Alex
the award.
Kurtzman should not be invited to any event. Nobody should acknowledge this man as anything. He shouldn't be looked at as a guy that ever did anything good. The fact that he's on a stage blabbing about Star Trek is an embarrassment.
Yeah, it was absolutely awful. Did you I don't know, did you happen to see Paul Chatto's video from today?
I didn't catch it. I didn't have time. I've been really
Oh my
busy
gosh.
lately. I missed some videos. Also, FNT. I also want to tell you, I really like FNT. Like I said, I've been so tied up recently, between the streams I do and the videos, like these Star Trek. People think that it's easy to do a Star Trek Starfleet Academy video, but let me tell you something. It's not easy at all.
Oh, they're so awful. It's it's so hard to like keep a narrative going when it's like every 5 seconds there's something completely wrong and messed up and just terrible in it. I can only imagine.
I want to believe that maybe I've become a better reviewer after doing this, because it's pushed me to the extreme. I've had to push myself to do these reviews in a way that I think people don't understand. People a lot of times they really don't know what goes into making like a review like that. But if you're watching a video that's like 20 plus minutes, a lot of time went into that. Especially the ones that I do. Yes, there's some people that they do the thing where they just, and I have nothing against them. It's perfectly fine. There's some people that, they have a microphone and a camera, and they just sit there and talk to you and talk to the person and talk for like 20 minutes. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But my videos are very, very detailed. Like, I don't know. I don't know how they look to other people, but all I can say is that I've spent more energy on these reviews than I have in any other review in recent memory. I mean, and to top it all off, there's also like the personal thing. You're watching something that you do like, but you're watching the worst version of it, if you even want to call it a version of it. and it's such an insult. And then in addition, there's another layer that it's so dumb that it's difficult to explain how dumb it is. I don't really know how to explain even now what I mean, but it's like, try to tell somebody what like what an episode of this show is. It's like sometimes you can quickly give a synopsis of something and everybody's like, oh, okay, I get it. Think of whatever you're trying to say about this show. Like try to explain what it is that you're watching. So all of that together, just a big struggle. I don't even know how we got to talking about it. Well, oh, okay. Kurtzman. Oh, you said Paul Chato. So I'm hoping after this show, I'll go back to watching a little more, maybe FNT, maybe Paul Chato. Let me try to find my post where Alex Kurtzman spoke. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's here. Let me know. Can you hear it?
It's something fundamental.
Yes.
Oh, this idiot. Sorry. My opinion, and my opinion is in it.
Gene Roddenberry had this lightning bolt of an idea.
Don't talk about Gene Roddenberry. You have nothing to do with him. Just shut up.
And I think he understood something fundamental about the nature of science fiction and genre storytelling, which is that science fiction is not really about the future, it's about now.
You're such an idiot. You just shut the fuck up, dude.
It is the prism through which
You are a fuckface.
the looking glass,
Sorry,
the magnifying glass through which we examine ourselves, the state of humanity, who we are, what we're capable of, and where we're going. And it was such a powerful idea that it has lasted for 60 years because
it hasn't lasted for 60 years. It at best lasted like 40 years, and the past 20 years, it's been, driven off a cliff where you're basically the chief, like, captain of it all. With, like, maybe a co-pilot at the beginning, like J.J. Abrams, which at some point took the only parachute on the plane and jumped off.
each iteration of Star Trek has been interpreted and reinterpreted by
Jerry Ryan still looks pretty good.
by people who are so inspired by the message of Star Trek.
The message, you fuckface. Sorry.
On set every day for the last several years, I've had this ritual, which is I take 1 minute to look around at what's going on and the incredible army of people and artists doing
You are a disgrace.
this job. And you will not meet one person on any of our sets who doesn't love Star Trek.
That's not true. That's not true. Nobody, you don't love Star Trek, and nobody that works for you loves Star Trek. And then the other thing is, I know, Professor, like, not everybody liked Picard season 3, and a lot of people had issues with it, and I understand it had its ups and downs. Some people just didn't accept it, and I get that, and I don't really blame them. But I will say that it was the only thing that seemed like a little bit of a guy trying to do something for fans, and the speed in which Alex Kurtzman got rid of that guy is like a world record of, like, getting rid of somebody. Usually, if you cared about Star Trek and you saw it was the only show that ever was, like, on Nielsen, and if a few people actually watched it, that would have been the sign of, okay, maybe we should do more for, like, fans. Maybe we should do stuff that's more respectful towards Star Trek. Instead, he reached the opposite conclusion. Got rid of the guy that tried to do something that wasn't like a disaster. Then he just wanted to do more shit. You know what I mean? He wanted to do Section 31 and Starfleet Academy, and that's what he learned. That was the lesson that he learned, that a few people thought it was nice that, like, they brought back the Next Generation cast. That was, like, his lesson from that was, we never do that again. We need Starfleet Academy and Section 31. That's not loving Star Trek. That's just being an egotistical jerk, in my opinion.
In their core.
No, not in their core. You're an asshole. Why are you clapping? Sorry. Sorry, Sean. Is there a woman holding a dog? I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's that bitch doing on stage? And why is that woman holding her?
I don't even know what you're talking about. I see hologram girl and I see TikTok girl.
No, look, there's an angle. There's another look, all just on the right of the frame there. If you change the angle, we have a couple of the actors from Starfleet Academy that are there, and then there is somebody
One person
holding a dog. I don't know who that is.
Our sets who doesn't
Interesting.
love Star Trek in their core.
One of these actresses that needs a support animal, something can't function in life without a support.
That
Emotional
would be
support
really
animal.
weird that she needs to bring him to, like, accept an award, that the dog has to accept an award with her. That is some really serious emotional support.
That's probably Kurtzman's. That's his personal assistant, and that's his dog. And she has to
Probably
carry
he
that
needs
dog
it,
around for
yeah.
him. Yeah, because he needs it. He is that kind of a pussy.
What was interesting, though, I don't know if you saw this, that they interviewed Rod Roddenberry for something, and, he said a few strange things. Did you see that today?
Rod Roddenberry says lots of strange things, but I
No,
didn't
but
see. I
this
didn't
one was
see this time.
actually I mean, first of all, I take it what I don't really, I don't think this guy has done good for the brand or anything, but there
No.
was something interesting that he said. Let me see if I can find this. I don't know if this is the original article, but let me share it. So he said that basically he thinks that Paramount's new leadership will bring disruptive change and things will get better. And he started saying that and then, like, kind of backpedaled in the same interview. He's like, "Well, let me see for a second what it was." He's like, "I do think with new regime things will get better." But then there was something that he said. He's like, I guess they don't show it here. I think he said something like, "I'm not saying that what they're doing now is bad, but it's always good when there's a change." This was very strange stuff coming out of him, considering that he serves as executive producer, not that, and he probably has no chance to, like, influence anything, but I always thought that he loved all this woke stuff, and, like, him saying, "Well, it's okay what they're doing now, but maybe there'll be, like, a good change. Maybe things will get better." That's a strange statement, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do think with the new regime, things will get better. That's kind of a strange thing to say if you love what's going on now.
Yeah, if what's happening now is amazing, and
Right,
Star
what do you
Trek
need
has
to
never
change?
been more amazing, then why would things get better?
Yeah, if everything is perfect, why would they need to? That's exactly it. There was another sentence that I don't see, or he's like, "Well, whatever they're doing now is okay, but it's always good, this and that." It was a little more kind of soft, but at the end of the day, got a run. Grateful. Thanks, Dutch Gradient. Thanks for all the gift memberships and super chat and everything. Thank you so much. By the way, I
Yeah.
haven't looked for a second. Did we get anything else?
We do have one
One,
more.
yes.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, the whole thing with him up there talking again. This I reshared, I retweeted or quote tweeted Chato's post on X with his video in it that he did today, because every word of it is just perfect, and the way that he does it is excellent. I disagree with Chato on a lot of stuff, but what when he was going off on Kurtzman in that video, it is absolutely hilarious, because he starts out just one of his usual videos, and then at one point he just snaps and he's just tearing into Kurtzman left and right, and it's great.
well, I'll have to look at it.
Yeah.
I like Paul. Paul's a good guy.
No,
I like
I
him.
like him. I'm just saying. I mean, we agree, we disagree on various different things, but but yeah, I do like a lot of his videos, and this one in particular was
I
very,
am
very
definitely going to check it
funny.
out. I've been on I'd say several streams with Paul Chato over the years, and always a really pleasant guy. Always had a good impression
Yeah,
of him. He's a nice guy. Like he's fun, and yeah, he's a fun person to be on a stream with. So just throwing that out there. And the real head case with 199 super chat, thank you. He's a member also of the channel, says Shatner could have walked up like Smith and slapped. Well, nobody's going to do that, but he definitely deserved it. As far as I'm concerned, if they only let like Shatner come up and talk and leave, that would have been fine. I don't need honestly, I don't need Kurtzman to go up there with like hologram girl and TikTok girl. I don't know, like desperately trying to make
yeah.
this Starfleet Academy a thing. Like What do you want? Nobody cares about your stupid show. There's 3 people watching it. The 3 people are us, and we're only watching it because people want us to make fun of it. This is the weird reality that we're in. And the thing is that we're kind of exhausted even talking about it to make fun of it, but we still do it because people are kind of asking us to do it. That's where
Yeah.
do you get what I mean? That's where we're at right now. We're not even enjoying, like, making fun of it. It's almost like it's now like a service we're doing for others.
Yeah. I mean,
Wait, Marla Sharendorf is here. Marla
hey,
Sharendorf is a
Marla.
friend of the channel. Bad Shrek, bad, ghosted in the corner.
Yeah. So someone was suggesting that the dog is either one of the writers on the show,
yes.
or is one of the 27 producers getting a paycheck.
Either
I think.
or. I would say writers. The only thing I can think of, it has to be one of the writers.
It would make sense.
It does make sense.
There's a whole lot of dog shit in these scripts.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
how
Sean.
he's their muse. In any case, I will check out that Paul Chato video. It's probably fun. And yeah, what were we talking about? So we talked about the war. We talked about a lot of weird stuff. Kurtzman is a hack. He's the worst.
And just destroying Trek. We get to see shortly. Hopefully, it sounds like it won't be long before we know whether or not he does get any kind of renewal on his contract. Although I do believe it goes through August. We will know something. It sounds like rather soon. Just it depends on. I've heard rumors from a few different people. Yes, including Tachyon Pulse, right? But a few different people that basically the last potential chance for any kind of agreement with Kurtzman is kind of on the table right now, and we'll know if there's any possible connection with him going forward. But then once he steps away, like once the agreement with Secret Hideout and Kurtzman is done, then Paramount, Skydance, they'll be free to announce new Star Trek projects. They can't announce anything new right now because the agreement with Secret Hideout is essentially that they own Star Trek. If there's anything produced Star Trek, they're a part of it automatically. They have to be. And so they can't really say, oh, hey, we're going to turn the page and we're going to start this other new series or we're going to have these other movies or anything like that. Because if they do, then Secret Hideout's a part of it. So they have to wait until this contract has lapsed before they can talk about anything. That seems to be the agreement from a lot of different people that this is what's happening. They're making plans, they're thinking about it, but they can't say anything. They can't do anything until Secret Hideout is off the books. They're gone. And then they can start saying, yes, we're planning this new movie. Yes, we're planning a new series. Although, honestly, as has been suggested by a few people, I would not care if they decided to shelve Star Trek for a few years. I would be fine with that.
I'd be fine with that too. And yeah, I mean, listen, I always say it's fine. It's the Tachyon Pulse guy. It's the equivalent of like you're at the supermarket and there's a National Enquirer and you want to buy it because you know that it says like a bunch of stuff and a lot of it's just nonsense, but you like to, read it anyways. It's fine. It's like, it's not that he's doing anything that he's not allowed to do. He can be the National Enquirer of like sci-fi news. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still waiting for like the one day, like the day that he has an actual scoop. I really, I don't think, this is just my personal opinion. I don't think that like David Ellison calls him every 5 minutes to give him like all the info or whatever it is. Like, I don't think like top executives are sitting around like calling him all day. All of that just doesn't, it feels strange to me. I think that I've said it before. You remember the show like The Mentalist?
Yes.
So like he wasn't really a psychic. He would just kind of look at different things and just like sort of reach, through deduction, reach some conclusions.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying that Tachyon Pulse is like as elaborate as The Mentalist, but I'm saying like He just kind of like I said, like he takes stuff that's more like, water is wet, but talks about it as though like some big scoop landed on his lap, like the biggest executive in Hollywood called him secretly to tell him that like Kurtzman may not get renewed. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, what's the scoop here? And most of his stuff is like that, or it's like stuff that he says that it's like some big, like sensational thing. You'll have to wait in some cases like 3 years to find out if it happened or not. And if in 3 years it doesn't happen, what does he care? Again, allowed to do it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that, it is a certain thing. Mike Zero, he's allowed to exist too. He has probably like 500,000 followers. To this day, I am still waiting for Mike Zero to even by accident report one thing that's actually, accurate.
That's actually true. Yeah.
What does Mike Zero even do these days? I never get recommended his videos. Is he
just-
still sitting around and just making up nonsense? Is he just
I think that's I think that's what he does. He just sits around and makes up nonsense.
I have to
still.
find it now. I have to go check. Like, where is he? Mike Zero.
I mean, I have to admit, I think I've watched 2 of his videos ever because
The
I
thing is, the
immediately
man is
found
a
him to be a
genius.
complete tool.
The
but-
man is a genius. Okay, I want to share this now. This man is like, see, I'm an idiot. You know what I mean? I'm an idiot, and Mike Zero is brilliant. A brilliant man. He has 580,000 followers. Okay. This is a guy that has never said one thing that made any sense, and he has 580,000. Like, what is he talking about? Let's see what his videos are about. Mel Gibson just destroyed Billie Eilish after attacking Scary Movie in pronoun joke. I'm pretty sure that probably didn't happen. Like, he basically, I'll tell you what he does. I think he checks to see what, like, people are talking about Mel Gibson and Billie Eilish. Why don't I just say that Mel Gibson is like, he's just making this shit up. There's nothing. This is nothing. Billie Eilish. He probably, and also for 3 days, he probably saw that Billie Eilish was like getting him a few views. So that's it. It's like Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish, he's had like, look, in the past like few weeks, he has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Billie Eilish.
Yep. Like 4 or 5 different ones in there talking about Scary Movie 6. Like, wow.
This is just so weird. But what am I
Yeah.
going to say? He built this. He built it, and there's people watching, and, I mean, relatively speaking, considering the amount of followers that he has, they're not all like, I don't know. I mean, it's not bad numbers to have for videos, and he keeps pumping them out every 5. I guess it's fine for him. Every 5 minutes, he makes another video. And maybe you need to be like creative to just invent crap all the time. Like
you would need to be creative to make all that stuff up. Yeah. It's because he doesn't report the news.
I mean, if nothing else, you need to be creative. Like for me to 3 times a day come up with a video that I'm inventing just a story that never happened out of my own mind and sitting there with a straight face and saying, man, Mel Gibson has beef with like Billie Eilish. It's very serious. And to sit there and like talk about it for 10 minutes, it's an art form. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a type of hustle. And yeah, I mean, I give that also to like, Tachyon Pulse. I will say that Tachyon Pulse isn't, I think, as outlandish as, let's say, a Mike Zero in terms of like his thing will be more like grounded in reality. But at the same time, it's stuff that like is non-scoops or stuff that like, oh, like now like the biggest executive called me, blah, blah, blah. Whatever.
Yep.
It's fine. Everybody has their own hustle. And, I respect what people do. I respect that at the end of the day, people are just trying to, get by and do whatever they do. And everybody has their own style and their own thing. And it's fine. There's an audience. Obviously, there's an audience for Mike Zero. There are people, I guess, this is my only theory here. Maybe there's people that just say to themselves, I like that this guy is making up crap because he's so, like, excited about the crap that he makes up, and I wanna see what crap he'll make up next. Like, you click on a Mike
It's
Zero video, you know it's absolute nonsense, but there's still a part of you that's like, "How is he gonna put this together?" You know? How is he gonna tie all these pieces of the puzzle that have nothing to do with each other? How is he gonna connect this story and try to sell it?
yeah. I would trust Grace Randolph over Mike Zero.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Grace Randolph is a complete weirdo, but, I've always thought she's a weirdo. It's so
Oh
strange that she
no,
became,
she
like, a
is.
thing.
I don't get it. And then now just her foot and mouth disease, talking about the whole the whole Tourette's thing. Like, oh my God. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
Like
I think a lot of people that Tourette's look stupid. By the way, I don't know, I think I already said it on another day that, I mentioned when we were on stream with Robot Head, I mentioned that the guy with the Tourette's I may have said this on the show before, that I mentioned that I don't think it was right for the guy to be at the event, and people were all like, "Oh, you want segregation, you hate people with, like, disability." I didn't say that. I just thought that under the circumstances at the end, they made him miserable. They probably didn't do a good service to his movie, and the people on stage were miserable too. So at the end of the day, sure, it's his big night, and I agree that he should be there and all that. But if you can't take the right precautions, maybe give him a little kind of secluded area kind of in back, or make sure that it's something that's not well mic'd, that maybe I don't know. I don't pretend to be an expert in this in Tourette's or know anything really how to what one could do. But if there was a way to put him, in a section that was a little more, to the side and not like so close to him just yelling these things at the people on stage. If there was any way to do that, that probably would have been a better situation, you know? I don't know if it's possible. I
yeah.
don't know if it's plausible. I'm not saying I'm like, "Oh, that guy's not a person. He shouldn't be at events." I think that in this case, at the end, he ended up leaving the event himself because he felt so embarrassed. So who's the winner here? You know what I mean? The people on stage were offended because they don't understand what the disease is or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
himself felt embarrassed by what was going on, so he left and felt awful. So they felt awful and he felt awful. I'm not even sure that it helps his movie any either. So at the end of the day, who benefited from him at this event? That was my question. And I'm not saying that he hasn't been through tough things, not making fun of the disease that he has, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't be treated nicely or anything like that. I just kind of looked at the situation and I figured I'm trying to find
Yeah.
out who benefited from the whole situation.
Yeah. The BAFTAs benefited from the controversy and, getting all sorts of extra press from it. That's who benefited
Yeah,
from it, which is kind of gross when you really think about it.
1 second, Professor.
Oh, and Price is gone. And Price is back.
I'm back. Yeah. There was some problem and I couldn't highlight comments, so I had to step out and step back in.
Yeah, I think they've made some updates to some stuff in Rumble Studio, and maybe it broke a few things.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's all
Rumble
fine.
Studio is like, it's been always Rumble's been good to us and they've, been very supportive, of what we do, and I always appreciate that. What was I gonna say? Oh, there were a few things. So we talked about Trump and Iran, we talked about Alex Kurtzman, but there were a few things that I wanted to talk about. Did you get a chance to watch anything from that One Piece thing?
Get to watch the first episode. So that's one that I'm watching with my family because my kids really like it, and so we got through the first episode this evening. So yeah, I got a little bit there to talk about. Just so you know, I've seen the anime like 400 episodes in, so
Oh, okay.
I know everything that happens in the story.
So that's not even like a
There's not going to be
suspense.
spoilers per se. My son and I were enjoying some of the stuff that they snuck in to the first episode that did not happen in the manga, did not happen in the anime. It's hinted at way further on in the story that those characters were involved in certain events, but it was not actually part of the original story. But anyway.
I mean, for me, I don't have the kind of extensive, anime watching background that I suppose you do. Uh, I don't dislike anime, but when I've only seen like the live action the first season. Then I watched like the first episode, like you. I watched a lot of the second episode. I watched a good portion, but not the whole thing. Some of it I watched at least. In any case, for me, it's very surreal and weird, and that's how I feel about anime.
Yes.
So I don't look at it through the lens of what I usually look at a show. Meaning, if I'm looking for this kind of standard, typical type of storytelling, probably not going to get it on this show. This one is kind of bonkers and quirky and strange and surreal even at times. But to tell you the truth, I don't necessarily dislike that. I enjoyed the first season, and if nothing else, I kind of like the vibe and I like the main character, the guy that plays like Monkey D. Luffy or whatever. I like him. I don't know, they found a guy that I think is likable, in my opinion, at least.
Oh no, he's really likable. I very much enjoy the cast. Having watched through the first season, that was one of the things that we enjoyed the most was who they chose to play some of these different roles. There's some very, very cute uh, choices there, very, very fun choices that were made, not just in who they picked for the characters, but then the actual actors themselves, the
Right, a good
choices they're
casting. The
making.
cast is very
Yeah.
likable, and really like beyond. I like all like it's not the only guy on the cast. I like the others on the cast too, but I feel like he especially brings this just very likable factor to the table, and it helps having a likable cast, because when you're doing something like this, if you don't have a cast that's likable, it's not going to work. Like, you need to have that to sell whatever bizarre stuff is happening. You really need that. And yeah, I mean, I thought that first episode was pretty good. I started watching this like some of the second one. I think the guy with the smoky guy, that
Yeah.
was in the first one, right?
That's in the first episode. Yep. Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I
Yeah.
have no reference with like the animated series. I guess when you watch it live action and you compare it to, let's say, the anime, how do you feel like when you compare them?
Honestly, I think that some of the way that they do translating from the anime to live action, sometimes I find it very clever and I like it, and because they kind of take the design of the character and then make it look rather real, like it belongs in our reality. And then there's other times when they take some of these characters and they make them kind of they're a little too close to the anime. Like, they kind of go over they go overboard in trying to make them look just like the character from the anime, and then sometimes they look kind of fake and plasticky. You know what I mean? Like they're mannequins or something, right? Like they don't seem like they could actually exist in a real world, which kind of pulls me out of it a little bit. Like, I kind of feel like I would like them to stick a little bit closer to, these are people that live in reality. I don't mind the crazy hair and stuff like that. That doesn't bother me so much. Uh, but yeah, there's just some of the characters that they've gone with that are very the designs they've chosen for the live action versions are very interesting. For instance, in the first season, I really liked how they treated Buggy, the clown pirate. I really liked how they went with him because they tried to make him sort of a very realistic character. Yeah, he has weird powers where he can split himself up into little pieces and whatever. But like, when he's actually, around you, like, he seems like, oh, he's a guy in a kind of a ridiculous costume, but he doesn't seem kind of too over the top, not real, right? There was a little bit of that in this episode, but then also I think they did a pretty good job sometimes with some of the other characters. Smoker is a really actually important character. He returns a few different times, and he's actually quite an interesting character in the show, because when you in the length of the series, as you get to know some of the different characters and see them in different situations, a lot of the Marines who are supposed to be keeping the peace, they're supposed to be the law. Just like you saw with some of the characters in the first season, there's a lot of Marines that are kind of, well, I mean, they're real assholes, right? They're not really concerned about the law so much as they are, just trying to get back at the pirates or whatever, and they're willing to do to go to great lengths to get to the pirates. Where Smoker is a character who really kind of sticks to his own code, and he's there for the duty that he sees in, we're out here to stop pirates because pirates are dangerous, and we don't want to see them take over, because then there'll be chaos, whatever. So he kind of has a code over the series, and that's something that is different from a lot of the other characters. So I'm glad I liked the way they did him, other than the character that they had, he had his jacket open. You could see his chest, and I don't know, it looked like he had like a ton of makeup on or something underneath that jacket. It looked very sort of plasticky and weird looking. Like he had like a fake plastic chest on. I don't know.
Looked like it, yeah.
A little weird looking, but no, I really there was a lot to like about this first episode. Although I gotta admit, in this first episode, it felt a little cheap. Like I did not feel like I was seeing the money that they spent on this on screen. Like part of it, I think, was the cinematography. It did not feel sophisticated. It did not feel cinematic. There were a lot of shots that felt very dull and uninteresting. It did not feel like, in some scenes, that there should be these really dynamic fight scenes. It was almost like they needed to be, well, like
did they change showrunner? Did something happen?
They did have some changes, yes.
Because the first season, I really, really liked what they did. I'm not as savvy as you are in spot. I am savvy at film in general, but this is kind of quirky, so I don't look at it through, like I said, through the same lens. With that being said, there were a few moments that I looked at it and I can kind of feel what you were saying. I almost thought in the back of my mind, I'm like, it kind of looked. I mean, I thought to myself, maybe the fight scenes or some of the things could have looked better, but I couldn't put my finger on exactly what I was thinking. You know what I mean? It was kind of in the back of my mind, but I didn't have it. I think you explained it a lot better than I was thinking. I still was trying to process what I was thinking, but you explained it better. I did.
Yeah.
I think that what I did tell myself is that maybe the first season I liked a little better, whatever I saw there in general, but I didn't hate the episode. I just feel like the first season was better.
Yeah, the first season had so much charm and wit, and you were rooting for the character of Luffy, and as he was getting his crew together, like, you were rooting for him, you were cheering them on. There was a lot of character there, and you really, really enjoyed seeing these people on screen. And that there was not that magic in this first episode. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to feel it later on in the series. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be some interesting stuff happening later. I just felt like this first episode did not feel as magical, did not feel as interesting, as charming as a lot of that first season. Right. And again, I don't think that it was all completely wrong. There was plenty that they did right. I enjoyed they basically completely recreated the scene. So there's the scene with the when he's buying the sword. I don't know. Do you just want me to put it on screen, Price? And we can just kind of talk about it.
Yeah, if you want. Cool.
I can see if I can just put it on screen here. Let me see if I can share. Oh, well, maybe not. We'll try again. Let's see. Okay, hold on. It's acting up. It's gonna take me a second. So, yeah, I mean, what were some of your thoughts, Bryce, while I try and get this going?
I mean, listen, I was just like, for me, it's a lot to take in because I don't know I didn't watch all the anime. It's a lot of like weird stuff that's happening at the same time. At the end of the day, like I said, for me, especially in this first episode, I haven't watched the other season in a long time, and I didn't remember every single detail. So I think in this first episode, what really carried me was like that I like characters like Monkey D. Luffy and things like that. I like that whole kind of, fight scene there. I was a bit puzzled when he was on the tower and he's like, oh, laughing when he was going to die, and then the lightning strikes the other guy. I feel like maybe I'm missing some context as to why the other guy was struck by lightning and why the building fell.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Um, well, that was just luck or destiny, perhaps, in getting in the way of and preventing Luffy's death. But yes, the laughing thing, they do kind of explain the laughing thing as you move through. Because they talk about that. Smoker talks about that near the end of the episode, saying, that was the same look. He had the same look on his face that Gold Roger, the famous king of the pirates who started the pirate era, he said he had the same look on his face. So he saw something in him, recognized something in Luffy that he recognized in Gold Roger that he saw as terrifying, right? Like that he's got that same spirit that could lead him to start a whole nother chaotic pirate era, right? So, and again, he's led by a lot of duty and so on, like that he to get rid of the pirates, not because he hates them or wants power for himself, but because it's his duty to make sure that everyone is safe and prevent the pirates that so many of them, for every one pirate that you get like Luffy, who's got a good heart and is out there to explore and do all these good things, there's 100 others who are awful and kill people and, capture slaves and whatnot. Right. So, anyway, yeah, that was the whole thing. And so that was that platform was where, of course, Gold Roger was executed. And when he was executed is when he cried out to the crowd, telling them about, everything I found, my greatest treasure is all in one place. And that was what started the pirate era, everyone going out and trying to find the One Piece. And so,
who was the guy that saved him from the smoky guy?
Okay. So you do learn about him later on. That is Monkey D. Dragon. Do you want it spoiled, Price?
You know what? Don't spoil it.
Okay. Yeah.
Should I have known who it was?
No, you should not. Not yet.
Okay.
You find out later on who that is.
He seemed pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah. You find out later who he is. He's a very, very important character in the overall arc of the story.
I see.
But yeah, you don't know right away. We did get. I liked this scene a lot. This is also one. This was not presented in the same place in the anime as it was here, but you get the scene between Gold Roger and Garp, where they're talking about. He's telling Garp that he has a son and he wants him to look after him because these two, while they were rivals, one was a Marine, one was a pirate, that they respected each other. And that he trusted Garp because he was, again, much like I was talking about with Smoker, like as a Marine, he is actually driven by honor and duty and so on. He's not after power. He's not after, trying to conquer anything. And so he does trust him, because he's a man of honor. And so he tells him about him. Gold Roger says he has a son and he wants Garp to take care of him because he says the sins of the father should not be visited on the son. And this is a conversation that happens at a different place in the manga and the anime, but it was kind of interesting to see it here, and I can tell what they're trying to do with the show with revealing that now.
2 questions I have. First of all, it's
yeah.
more of a comment that if you're watching this and you may have arrived through another link or something and you're not subscribed yet, if you came, let's say, from my review channel, this is a channel for live streams, so it's a different channel. If you're watching the stream and you're enjoying what we do here, please make sure to like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Rumble, also if you're watching through the app and you haven't yet, signed up or you want to do that, it's free, and then you can follow us so you know when we stream. Just throwing all that out there. The other thing is there was a scene where what's his face? Is it Sanji? What's his name?
Sanji, the chef. Yeah.
No, sorry, not the chef. What's the guy with Zoro? Zoro, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he had this fight with this other girl. He was fighting some girl, but he didn't kill her.
No.
What did that girl want?
Oh, she wanted the sword. She's a sword nerd. So this is one thing that my son really loved because they basically recreated this scene straight from the anime where he goes, he needs to buy some more swords because some of his swords were destroyed near the end of the previous season, and his fighting style is with 3 swords. So he goes to the sword shop, and the guy asks him about his sword that he's carrying, this white sword that he's carrying, and he wants to look at it. And he keeps offering him more and more money and more money, and he won't sell it. And then in the end, she comes in, and her name is not coming to mind at the moment, but she's basically a sword nerd. She knows all about all the different swords. She knows all the names for all the different swords, and she sees that sword and she's like, oh my god, like that is this such and such sword. It's like one of only like 21 swords that were ever made by this master or whatever, and it's basically priceless. It would be worth many millions of their currency. Berries is what they have, the currency. And so he's like, oh, okay, right. He's like, no, I'm not going to sell it. But then he sees this other sword that he pulls out. He's kind of drawn to it. And again, this happens directly in the anime. Where he sees this sword, and basically he's told, you don't want that sword. That sword is cursed. I can't sell you that sword. And if you every swordsman that's ever wielded it has been injured or whatever. And he says, okay, well, let's let the sword decide. If it's more powerful than or my will is more powerful.
I do have a question. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Somebody said, why not subscribe even if you don't like? I mean, listen, if you don't like it, you don't have to subscribe.
Yeah. You can
I said if you like it. I mean, I'm not expecting people that are like watching this and be like, I hate these guys, then fine, don't like. But
Phantom Outsider says, how does he fight with 3 swords? Does he have a prehensile tail? No, he holds one of them in his teeth.
That's
he
true.
holds one in each hand, and he holds the third one in his teeth. It is, again, it's anime. It's ridiculous. But yes, he has this scene where he takes basically he's like, oh, it's a cursed sword, is it? All right, well, let's figure out whether, basically, am I going to be the master of the sword, or is the sword going to be the master of me? And so he just throws it up in the air, and then everyone's like, oh my god, is it going to he's going to cut his arm off or something? And then the sword misses him, and it falls and stabs into the ground, and he says, oh well, I guess I win. And everyone is like, oh wow, okay. And then the guy just like, you can have the sword. I don't it's yours. Go right. You can take it. And then basically recognizes that he's an incredibly talented swordsman, and so offers to give him this other sword that he has that is an incredibly valuable sword. We get there's a weird scene.
Says, I hate them, but I'll subscribe anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We get this bizarro scene. This is not directly from the anime or the manga or anything. You get this ridiculous scene where they're going shopping for food.
Arjun says, I don't think the style of kind of goofy clothing works in live action without being goofy.
It does feel a little off, right? There's sometimes like it's like there's sometimes that it's fine. Like I think that Luffy and most of the crew that they have, they've done a good job of balancing. Here's the sort of comic booky, anime version of their outfits versus here's an actual, living human being wearing the costume. Like, I think they've done a pretty good job of making those feel like something that somebody might actually wear. But then there's some of the other characters where their costumes are just completely outrageous, non-functional, whatever. And so, yeah, it's kind of dumb. There was, you might have seen this character show up. This is one that my son and I were laughing about. This character showing up in the episode. This is a character that's introduced like 200-300 episodes in the show later. But when he tells his backstory, he was here in Logetown when this event took place and was inspired by Monkey, Luffy and his crew. And so it was kind of funny that they actually just sort of inserted him in there as part of the episode, because that was part of his story later on. So yeah, he's a character that has some importance much later on in the series, like 5 or 6 arcs later. More than that, actually, maybe 7 or 8 arcs later.
I do think that Luffy and Zoro look good. I agree with you.
Yeah, no, I think the main crew, I think all of their costumes look really good. They look pretty close to the comics, but they're also accurate. Like, I mean, if you look at the costume for and in fact, actually the costume for Bartolomeo here, I think works really well.
I like Nami too, or whatever.
Nami's looks very practical and very simple, but it still looks a lot like what she had in the comics. But then Bartolomeo, his outfit and everything, I think that translated well from the anime as well. But so he gives him the sword. There's more of Bartolomeo wandering around with him. We keep seeing his thing. Yeah, see, and I think they did a good job with Buggy too. I in the first season, I was really like, yeah, they got the character, but they also made him like a living person. And then the costume, while outrageous, is not impractical. It's not impossible. Like you could have that, right? It looks a little silly, but it's not as impractical and weird as some of the other stuff that we've seen some of the characters in. There's this whole long fight that drags out. You get to see, there's sort of things I was talking about. Like his chest looks kind of plasticky, like they put too much makeup on it or something.
It looks kind of weird, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
I assume they had their reasons.
Yeah, but then you see the sword nerd girl. She is actually a Marine that serves under Smoker. This is another like his jacket is okay, but then the cigars should have just been regular sized cigars. They're ridiculously oversized. They look like hot dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't look like cigars. They look like some other weird thing. They should have just had big old stogies, like real stogies, like, and then they would have been properly proportioned. When he puts the sort of fake ones that he has in here in his mouth, they look absurd.
I can
So,
see that. I can see that. Somebody
yeah.
from Badfoot said this looks like Robin Williams Popeye. I don't know.
Honestly, there is a little bit that's kind of goofy. On
I only watched that that Popeye movie once many, many years ago. And it was kind of weird. I remember really liking the cartoon. I liked the cartoon as a kid, and I liked Robin Williams, but when I watched the movie Popeye, I didn't love it.
yeah, it was not a great film.
It just somehow there's some stuff that looks strange in live action. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that Robin Williams was brilliant, but even he couldn't somehow make that completely work. Whereas I think that like Popeye the cartoon, man, when I was a kid, like I really liked Popeye when I was young. I don't know
Yeah.
where I'd see like reruns of his cartoons because obviously it wasn't like a new thing when I was growing up. You'd watch these kind of old reruns, like they used to show Tom and Jerry, those kind of things. So I really liked that. I really liked Popeye. I don't know why it was so simple. I just like the idea. I like that he's kind of like weakling, but then he eats the spinach and he like beats up Pluto. I don't know. I liked it. And I liked that Wimpy liked to eat burgers.
I would gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Yeah, that was always goofy. So yeah, I mean, this was it was funny because we were talking about. You mentioned like it's been so long since the first season of this. Yeah, I mean it's 2023 was when the first season of this came out. It has been almost 3 years since
Which
the
is
first
never a
season
good thing.
aired.
I'll tell you the truth.
No, it's not.
You wait too long. When I saw this, if you would have given me a year later another season, I would have already still with like fresh in my mind. The thing is, I've never watched the anime. I watched that season. I thought it was interesting. I wanted to see more. Years like went by. They had a recap this time. I'm trying to remember what I even saw. I remember the general idea, but it's not the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's not the same. You stretch this production out so much, and then it keeps getting delayed and delayed and delayed, and then it's like, oh wow, 3 years later we're getting another season of just 8 episodes, right? And then how long is it going to be till we get to the next one? Right?
These actors are going to be like 100. They'll never
Yeah, they're
finish
gonna be,
this thing.
Luffy's going to be 60 years old, and they will have told. They will barely have gotten through, 3 or 4 of the major stories, the major story arcs of the show. I mean, they've got to start, if they're going to commit to it, they've got to start making more and more quickly, or else it really gets weird.
You know what I really liked? I liked Mighty Mouse as a kid.
Oh no, I loved Mighty Mouse. Yeah.
It was another one of those things that they like. I don't know if you remember this. You'd come home, there'd be like, sometimes clusters of cartoons. Like it could be 30 minutes. They're just going to show you some cartoons. Mighty Mouse generally isn't like a 30-minute cartoon. So usually they'd probably show you a few things. Like one of them would be like Woody Woodpecker, one of them would be this, one would be that. And suddenly you don't know. You didn't know when it would happen. Suddenly there's Mighty Mouse. And for me, when I was like watching those kind of clusters of cartoons, I really wanted Mighty Mouse to come on because it was sort of like, I liked that he was sort of like Superman, but a mouse. I don't know why I liked it. That was the best for me. I liked that as a kid a lot. There was also Heckle and Jekyll, Woody Woodpecker.
It was basically I watched a ton of stuff on Nickelodeon when I was when I was younger. So like Danger Mouse was one that I loved.
Yeah, I watched
a
Danger
British
Mouse
cartoon,
too,
Danger Mouse. Danger Mouse and Pinfold.
It was such cheap animation. Like Danger Mouse is like the cheapest show ever made. It's almost like I think that sometimes their mouth wouldn't move when they talked or something. Like it was
Oh
the
yeah.
cheapest like thing that could ever happen. There was still something interesting about it, but man, does that show look and feel cheap. You're talking about cheap. Danger Mouse is like the most cheapo-ish cartoon ever made. I'm not saying it doesn't have merit, but man, is it cheap. Like they didn't bother is it this show? I don't know why I remember that. Like sometimes I think they didn't bother animating, and they reuse a lot of the same cells over and again, and the same things over and over again. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I mean that was really common in the cheaper animation
Oh,
studios.
but even within the cheap, that one is like in its own category of cheap. You know, you admit it. Admit it. Danger
Oh
Mouse was
no,
super cheap, man.
absolutely. Yeah, no, that was absolutely something that you saw a lot of. There was there were a few others at the time that were just bafflingly terrible. Was it Filmation, I think, was the studio that made a bunch of these really cheap things where they were shot on was on threes where there's only one frame of animation every 3 frames that you get aired, and then they would recycle animation constantly. You also got other shows like Speed Racer, right? That was another one that was like just the cheapest. Like the actual animations and stuff were all recycled all the time. Characters would have like just 2 frames for them talking, their mouth open and their mouth closed. It's really, really cheap. But yes, Danger Mouse was definitely one of those.
Remember, there was something called Jot. Do you know what that is?
Jot?
That's a cheapo one. Jot. That was just cheapo, cheap crap. I don't even know why I saw Jot. Like, why would I even watch such a thing? And maybe was there an Indian? What was the in Ikaru? Ikaru? Like, was there some Indian? Fuck, I don't remember what that Indian was. Never mind. Go on with One Piece. I didn't mean to.
No. It's fine. Yeah, no. You had mentioned earlier that he has this sword fight with her. When what she was saying was you don't deserve to have that sword because you're a pirate. Of course, she's a Marine. And so they have their fight, and she's, oh, there's always going to be someone stronger than you, better than you, or whatever. But of course, then he does best her, but he doesn't kill her. There's a reason, and you actually saw earlier in this episode when he first bumps into her, he says a name because he's shocked when he sees her because she is the spitting image of his best friend growing up. You might remember, I mean, that's thinking back a while, but all the way back to the first season 3 years ago, you did see some of his backstory. And when he was younger, he had a friend who was a girl, and they were constantly fighting, and they made a promise to each other that they were going to be the best swordsman in the world, and or that one of them would be. And then she died, and so he basically makes a promise to her that that he takes her sword, and then he's gonna go out and he's gonna become the greatest swordsman in the world. And so when he sees this girl, she immediately reminds him of his friend when he was a child. So he cannot bring himself to kill her. So even though she's a Marine, even though she's threatened him and whatever, he pins her to the wall with her own sword, and then he leaves. We do get the fight with Smoker. Again, these cigars that he has are just comically huge. Like you can't really see them all that well in this shot here. It's kind of hard to scrub through Netflix, but yeah, they did use his smoke effects really well, and I thought that was done really, really cool. Yes, there is the other character that we get to see later on that you mentioned. Oh, there he was. That helped him out.
Okay.
And yeah, you do find out who that is later on, but I won't spoil it for you. Let's see. Yep, and then you get the two of them talking about what was it that he saw in Luffy when he was up there on the scaffolding and stuff, and saying yes, he saw him. It was him laughing. He had the smile and the laugh in the face of death, and he sees something incredibly dangerous in Luffy because he sees that same disrespect for authority, the same I don't even know the words, but yeah, the same potentially same destiny, I guess, for Luffy as the king of the first king of the pirates, Goldie Roger had. So yeah, and there's a whole thing in the different the manga and in the ongoing anime about there's characters with a D in their name as their middle name, like Monkey D. Luffy, and some of the other characters that have D's in the middle name. And there's supposedly there's something about that they have some kind of special destiny, and so in fact Gold Roger, his name was not Gold, it was Goal D, and he had the D as the middle name. So
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
I think we had another super chat, and I
did we get
didn't-
another super chat?
I think there was another
Yeah.
one maybe that I didn't see.
Anyway, genuinely, I thought I enjoyed the first episode. I didn't love it. It felt more forced. It felt less charming, less fun than what they were doing in the first season. Again, I think there was some cinematography and stuff in there that I felt was kind of on the weak side. It just
You could
wasn't
tell
doing
that it doesn't surprise me if you tell me that the production is different. Something doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
I still like the actor that plays Luffy, and I still think he's the strongest thing, along with a few of the other castings here.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a kind of magic that I felt in the first season. At least in this first episode, it didn't feel quite the same. It's skating by on the fact that I like the atmosphere and the characters, but I agree with you. I think there was something about that first one that was better. Until now, it seems like the first one was a few levels above this, but we'll see what happens.
Did you find the? Oh yeah.
Do you think tech is ready for DBZ yet?
Oh, is the technology there to make a live action Dragon Ball Z? Oh, jeez. I don't think I ever want to see a live action Dragon Ball Z. It's too ridiculous. It's too over the top. I definitely don't want to see a live action Dragon Ball. I don't want to see a little kid Goku running around with his peen hanging out. That's
Why is somebody said the real head case? He has a sword fight with her him. Is she a her him? She just seemed like a her, or did I?
it's a her. They were joking earlier that it looked like it could be a transformer. It is not.
Hey, dude, Rousseff.
It's not. It's a
You
girl.
know what's weird is that it crossed my mind when I watched it for a second, but
Yeah.
I realized it was a girl because it kind of made
Yeah.
her look weird. But I don't know. What do I know?
She's supposed to be the character is kind of plain looking, except of course in the anime. It was kind of funny that and my son actually mentioned, he said when she was on screen, he goes, "Oh, is that Tashigi?" And I said, "Yeah, that's supposed to be her. I mean, that's why she's got the flowery shirt." And he said, "Some of the proportions are not right." And I said, "Well, unlike anime, you're not going to be able to find an entire cast of actresses with giant tits. It's just not going to happen, okay? You're going to have to live with some normally proportioned human beings for the live action show." Because yes, they do not shy away from the fan service in the actual anime or in the manga. Most of the ladies are very well endowed and absurdly proportioned.
I see. I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Well, I think that first of all, thank you, the real head case, for the super chat. There's another thing that I watched since we have a little bit of time.
Oh, please tell me it was The Bride.
No, I didn't see that. I haven't had time.
Oh,
I really wanted to see that movie and to review it. The thing is that, like I said, I've just past few weeks have been very, very busy for me, and I haven't had a lot of time to do stuff. But what I did watch was there's a new series called Young Sherlock.
oh, yeah. Okay, I haven't seen any of this.
Okay,
Not
Young
not that I'm
Sherlock is
not that
based.
I'm interested in seeing it, but
Well, it's Guy Ritchie, so at least like it
yeah,
has my minimum curiosity. I
sure.
don't dislike Guy Ritchie stuff, so was happy to look at it. Let's see for a second. So let me try to find this thing here. I think it's this, so I can share it. It's strange because I feel like nobody's even talking about this. I don't know if anybody's watching it or anybody cares, but uh, I, I like Sherlock Holmes. Honestly, I've always liked Sherlock Holmes. I don't know why. Detective. I always liked this even as a kid. So it's one of those things. Some people maybe don't care about Sherlock Holmes. I kind of like it. I'm not saying that I'm like the diehard and I've read all the books. I know everything. But generally speaking, if there's some like good version of Sherlock Holmes, I'm usually like open to it. And I like Guy Ritchie. So I thought it was at least interesting to see what he'd do. I've only watched the first episode, and it's I'm trying to think what I want to say. A lot of times I don't love when you take like, something that's supposed to happen a long time ago but use music that's a little more modern. This show has a bit of that. I know that Guy Ritchie does that a little more. I even though I don't mind it, it's like it's tasteful. I could have done with a little less of that. But aside from that, and also I say that initially, like the first 20, 30 minutes, I'm just kind of trying to get into it. It's sort of a mini series. I think it has 8 episodes, and it's not just one case. There's like an ongoing kind of story. The idea is that like this is Sherlock Holmes in his youth, but not as a child. He's sort of like in his late teens or early 20s or whatever it is, kind of a troublemaker. He ends up at a college, and Moriarty is at this college as well. It's kind of interesting. I don't know where they're going with it. I really like, I have to watch more. The first episode, it was directed by Guy Ritchie, certainly competently made. It's a bit like of adjusting to see something like Sherlock Holmes in the more kind of Guy Ritchie style, but at the same time, it wasn't terrible. Didn't hate it. There's a bit of a mystery. One mystery is sort of resolved, but then there's kind of it leads to a different mystery. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. The guy that plays Sherlock Holmes, the first few minutes, I'm like, is this guy okay? But throughout the episode, I kind of liked him more. I didn't hate him. There's a few other supporting characters there. There was one moment that felt a bit girl bossy to me, which like there's something that there's like an Asian actress here, and
Yeah.
she's basically like a Chinese princess that's visiting London. So it's not as obnoxious as like trying to make it seem like she just lives there and she's, you know what I'm saying? Like at least they tried to think of something why she would be there, or whatever it is. Still, there was like a moment that like they did like a complete girl boss whatever with her, but I don't know. It's I didn't dislike what I saw. I'm going to give it more of a chance and watch more of it. There's worse things I can do with my time than watching this. Like I like Sherlock Holmes, but I guess if you like or don't like this show, it'll really depend on if you like Guy Ritchie and if you like Sherlock Holmes.
Hmm. Okay.
You're not a Sherlock fan, I gather.
I like some Sherlock stuff. I much prefer the more classic, original Sherlock stories.
Well, somebody says who did the Sherlock Holmes with RDJ? The same person.
Yeah, yeah.
This is like basically sort of a prequel to that, even though not really, but yeah.
Huh. Okay. I mean, again, as like you said, Guy Ritchie. Could give it a look. Well, what's it? Is it on? It's on Prime Video.
It's on Prime Video. I mean, like I said, I watched it. I had zero expectations. Like I expected nothing except for the fact that I like Guy Ritchie. So I'm like, at least maybe he'll do something cool. And I watched it. I have to give it another few episodes to tell you if I'm really like, if it's really like brought me in or if it kind of fizzles out. But I'm gonna give it more time. I'm gonna watch more of it to see where it goes. Because it kind of also ended very interesting, the first one, kind of opening the door to a few other things. So I'll give it more of a chance. But as far as the premiere episode, it was all right and competently made, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I was not a huge fan of his Sherlock Holmes films. I like the first one better than I like this second one, if I remember. It's been
I
quite some
agree. I
time
like the
since I
first one
saw
better than the
those.
second one too.
But I mean, it was kind of witty and fun. Not a particularly faithful adaptation of Sherlock Holmes, but that's not
No.
what he was going for,
No,
right?
and
That's
he's
not what
not
he was
going for
going
that
for.
here either. He's just doing his Guy Ritchie thing. But as opposed to, let's say, like an Alex Kurtzman, at least Guy Ritchie has his own style. You may like it, you may not like it, but you're going to get something that's very Guy Ritchie-ish from it, whether you like it or not. John Davidson says to Lasher 5520, the Cumberbatch Sherlock was a very good series. You know, I will say this. I think that the first maybe 3 episodes, like the first season, because each season is like 3 episodes, or like 3 movies of like 90 minutes or whatever you want to call it. I think that at the beginning, when they did that first season with Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman, I thought that that was good. But with every more season that they did, it kind of was a diminishing return. And by the last few that they made, I really felt like it was an additional dip in quality. I did like the first few episodes more than anything else. You know what I sometimes also think, Professor, and this is also about One Piece or whatever you were talking about. Sometimes you have a show, and I think people don't know if it's going to succeed or not. The actors on it sometimes aren't as known. People don't really know them or don't really care, don't this, don't that. And then, like, you make the show, and it ends up being popular, and everybody likes it. And then when those same characters, the same actors, and the same people involved, they come back after a few years to make more, their whole energy is different. You know what I mean? The vibe is different, the energy is different. Something you miss that kind of feeling when they were making something that they didn't even know if it would be good or not, but they were just excited to do it. Now they're coming from a whole different place. Now it's a business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think so many movies even we like that had sequels, you could argue that. Ghostbusters, the first movie, I don't know that they thought it would be that successful, you know what I mean? The studio didn't 100% believe in it. Somebody on a whim approved some half-baked idea with like some guys, battling ghosts in New York City. The second that movie did as well as it did, once you have like a second one, it just you can't always capture the mindset, the fun, whatever those guys were having at that moment. Now it's not the same thing. Now there's pressure. Now you got to deliver another one. It's always like it's very difficult to follow up on something that was like lightning in a bottle, hoping that there will be more lightning in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's how I feel, about some of these things. I don't know how I even got there.
Yeah. A couple of questions or observations in the chat. Argentum says Jeremy Brett is the Sherlock Holmes. I would agree. I loved the take on Sherlock Holmes and the classic Jeremy Brett seasons of the
So yeah,
show.
so what
Very, very
happened? I
good.
think somebody said here in the comments that I think you're right. The last season they seem to have waited too long. That's another thing. Suddenly Cumberbatch is in demand. They want him for this. They want him for that. They wanted Martin Freeman for whatever for Lord
Yep.
of the Hobbit. Suddenly, like everybody wants these people for all this stuff, and like they're what ended up being at the beginning something cool that they're both super excited to do. Now it's like this chore that they have to go do this Sherlock while they're like in Hollywood on a yacht. You know what I mean? Like things change for these people, and suddenly everybody's in a different place in a different mindset. But I don't know. It's also like think to yourself, Professor, there was some time in your life that you were a certain age in a certain place at a certain time, and there was something fun that you did. And if now, like 10, 20 years later, we went back and we tried to do that thing again, you're not the same person you were 10 years ago. You're not the same person even that you were 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like the more time goes by, the more you're not the same as you were. Something has changed. Your energy has changed. Something is different. And now take that and take all the other people involved. Something has changed with this person, with that person, with this, with that. Whether it's like the way they look or the way they act or things that happen in their life. Now you're
Sure.
all getting back together and you're all trying to like, work towards this goal again. But sometimes, even with all the best intentions, something in it's just the energy doesn't line up, you know?
Yeah, it's just it's of a time, and it's that's part of it, and then it's also just you, like you said, like in your life and you know where you are, that it means something more to you then, right? Um, yeah, honestly, I recently went back and watched Austin Powers. And I remember absolutely adoring that movie when it came out. Thought it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. While I can still go back and watch it, a lot of it comes across as incredibly infantile in its humor, you know? And I'm like, okay, I can see why I thought that was funny at one point, but now it seems kind of kind of lame because it's just so childish.
It is very childish. I will still say that there's moments with Doctor Evil in that movie
no,
that I
there's
still think are good.
Yeah, no, I still honestly, is it one of the funniest things in the whole episode or whole episode, the whole movie that I love are the Doctor Evil bits, especially with him and Scott. There's the therapy scene, the
That
group
one is
therapy
good. The
scene
therapy scene is
is
great. That's with Carrie
absolutely
Fisher.
hilarious.
Carrie Fisher's in
Carrie
therapy.
Fisher, yes, she's the
That's
she's
a
the
funny
lead
scene.
therapist.
There are still moments. I feel like more. See, the thing is, even at the time, I liked the Doctor Evil stuff very much. But like, I think that all the kind of infantile Austin Powers stuff, that's the part that kind of didn't hold as well.
Yeah,
Whereas the Doctor Evil stuff actually holds up better for some reason.
yeah. There's another scene that's still to this day, I die laughing. And it's again with Dr. Evil and Scott, and it's when they have uh when they're going to be putting Austin in the tank and to let him be eaten by the ill-tempered bass or whatever, and he's like, "You're just not what? You're not going to kill him now? No,
Right?
we're
He's
just
like,
going
"Give
to
me a
put him
gun.
in
I'll
there."
do it right now."
No, I've got a gun in my room. Like the way that whole thing plays out is to me is hilarious because it really calling out the tropes from from the show or from the Bond movies, from the spy movies. Like, no, I'm gonna have this overly elaborate plan and it's just gonna work out. And like he's like, no, look, I can just take care of this right now. We'll do it together. It'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
like
yeah, a
that.
lot of the stuff with directly with the Austin Powers character, some of it is just so childish. It's like, oh, I can see why I thought this was funny at one time, but now it's
I mean, the thing is
not
also
quite as
comedy
amusing as it was
changes.
before.
Comedy changes. I mean, it's rare that you have a comedy that was considered hysterical once and you put it on now 20, 30 years later and it'll tickle your funny bone in the same way. Comedies, their shelf life isn't the same as like a drama movie. If I give you like a comedy from the 70s versus if I give you like The Godfather is still going to hold up as like this kind of serious movie because it's not built on comedy. Whereas, like, if you're looking for a comedy, the comedy changes so rapidly, it's not going to be the same. I mean, there's still things that maybe you grew up watching that still means something to you, but most comedies don't hold up. The one comedy that I will say that I think is still does hold up, and maybe for me that's why I think it's such a good comedy, is like Naked Gun, the first Naked Gun.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I watched that maybe in recent years sometime, and I sat there and it was still funny. Like it doesn't. Maybe it's not only the jokes. It's just like Leslie Nielsen's like deadpan delivery and absurdity of every situation that still there's something about it even after all these years that I still think is funny.
Yeah, there are plenty of comedies that have held up brilliantly over time, like Ghostbusters, right? That's one. Like that to this day, still absolutely hilarious. Naked Gun, that one is definitely one that's in there. Uh, some of the Mel Brooks.
Somebody mentioned Spaceballs. Yeah, Mel
Yeah,
Brooks
Mel Brooks
has a better
stuff.
shelf life than a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters is good, but I will tell you that there is some nostalgia tied to it. Naked Gun is just like solid, and I don't know. It's just there's something about the movie between like the jokes, the way they are, and really the delivery. A lot of that just rests on how they set up the situations and the scenes, and like Leslie Nielsen's execution is just flawless. I just like I'm not saying like I won't say underrated because everybody knows he was like really brilliant, but it's so interesting that he had a whole career as like a serious actor, and it turns out that like his calling was actually to be like the most deadpan delivery
Yeah.
guy like ever in like the most absurd situations. But he liked doing comedy, Leslie Nielsen. It's just nobody knew that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Call that a lightning in a bottle. Like the thing with Leslie Nielsen, the reason why you even know him is because that whole airplane situation. First of all,
Yeah.
this is the weirdest. Think of like if you want to think of like weird fate in the universe, okay? Initially, the guys that made this, like the movie Airplane, they actually were trying to do something else. They wanted to record commercials in the middle of the night so they could do sketches that they make fun of them or something like that. And I think once accidentally in the middle of the night, they filmed a movie called it's not Airplane. What's it called? Airplane is
The
based on a movie. I don't remember the name. Like
I think it's 0 Hour.
Zero Hour.
I think
So
is
they
the name of it.
recorded it and they saw it on the VHS. And this is just like a brilliant moment in like comedy history. One of those guys that like those Zucker or whatever, they like recorded it and they said, "Man, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen." And they're watching a movie that's completely taking itself seriously. Like
Mhm.
every actor in that movie in that 0 Hour is like everybody's super serious. Meanwhile, they're sitting around laughing their ass off. It's the funniest thing they've ever seen. And then they actually go and in order not to get sued, because it was such an old screenplay, they actually optioned the rights so that
Yeah.
they could remake that movie. And then like their idea was we're making like this movie, but and like we'll have actors, we want them to be super serious, but the situations will make little changes to every scene where the movie becomes like a parody of itself. It seems so obvious now, but like this was like a revolutionary idea. So they do this and they're looking for actors that in the past they also said we don't want a bunch of comedians. We don't want comedians in this movie. We want people that in the past like were in movies like serious, like super serious. So they had like a number of actors there. The actors are not considered like comedic actors in that movie. And Leslie Nielsen was like a guy that just played these kind of more serious roles and did whatever. And they're like, we're going to bring him there and tell him to say like the dumbest things ever. And what they didn't realize is that Leslie Nielsen, he was typecast as that dramatic guy, but he actually really liked comedy. So you had the perfect match here because you had like them trying to find a guy that could do the deadpan delivery, but a guy that also understands comedy. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's how you just got something that it's so rare to and so unique, and that's also why the comedy I think holds up. Like if you watch something like The Naked Gun, it's not built on a joke that's like funny now. It's built on this like guy that just walks around like unknowingly like that he's a buffoon, but he doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
He's like super serious about everything he's saying. It's just brilliant. It still works until this day.
Yeah, it does. We watched that. Uh, well, we rewatched that before the new one came out this last summer.
Yeah, and the new one, like, wasn't able to I didn't hate the new one. I sat
No.
there and it was fine, but it wasn't like it couldn't do what that first one did. And I like Liam Neeson, but it just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I didn't I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it,
There
but
were there were
it was
definitely parts
nowhere
of
in
it
the league.
where I was laughing. There were bits and pieces here where I was laughing, and some of them a little bit more uh a little bit more infantile stuff. The whole thing with him eating the chili dogs. Like I laughed because it wasn't just that he had one chili dog and then had diarrhea. Like he kept doing it to himself over and over again. That was ridiculous.
It
And
was.
then the
I
bit,
mean, there
the
was stuff
snowman. There was the snowman bit that kind of started out one way and sort of got twisted and turned into a horror movie. Like that, cracks me up. Still cracks me up.
There were some moments there that I thought were genuinely funny, but there weren't enough of them. And most of the movie, I was kind of chuckling and smiling. Whereas the original movie, it's like so packed with like such just it's done better on every level, the original. But I still, I mean, it's nice that somebody tried to make a comedy at least.
Oh yeah, and I think we need more comedies. We got to get more comedies back in the theaters for people to go and enjoy. The problem is that tickets cost so much now that a lot of people just aren't going to be willing to go spend money for a 90-minute comedy in the theaters. It's just too pricey, And so a lot of people they'll see it, they're like, "Oh yeah, that looks funny. I'll catch it when it hits streaming." Because they've almost been trained at this point. We're going to go because the prices are as high as they are. We're going to go to the theater for the big event movies, right? We're going to go for the Doomsday. We're going to go for the new MCU release. We're going to go for the big one that's getting all the press. We're going to go see, Super Mario Galaxy or whatever. But they're not going to go see the smaller, and they genuinely didn't go see Naked Gun when it came out. Again, a lot of people just said, "Look, I'm not spending that kind of money for a 90-minute comedy." So, yeah, but we do need to get back to making comedies. We need for Hollywood to stop being afraid of making comedies and actually have fun and laugh. Laugh at things. It's instead of
I definitely want to see more comedy.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to show you what that shot is, although I can't remember what the Native American person thing was, but Ikari, is that what Ikari cartoon? Yakari, I don't flipping know. Anyhow, there's something, I'll show you what it is. There was Jot. You don't know what Jot is?
It's not springing to mind, no. This other thing was a Native American cartoon.
It was something, there was some Native American, I can't remember this. But let's see.
From the 80s?
You don't know what this is? It's like short cartoons. Because we were talking about like pretty cheap cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fix him. Come on, Jack. Let's swing.
Like you were supposed to learn lessons or something from it. Like it teaches you to be a good person or something. It didn't work on me, but you know what I'm saying.
Hey, fellas! The teacher wants to see you! I didn't do it. If you had, you asked for it.
Boys, there's a rule to live by which tells each of you how to treat one another. Do you know what it is?
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
From the Bible. That's right, Jock. It's called the Golden Rule because it's always the right thing to do.
I'm sorry, Pick. I'm sorry, Pick.
I'm sorry, too.
Come on, Pick. Race you to the swing.
I guess I'm the only person that ever watched that.
I mean, it looks vaguely familiar, but I just don't really remember it. I was looking up some stuff. So was it the Mysterious Cities of Gold? Was that the show you're thinking of?
No, like Yakari. I don't know what. Yakari. 1980. Maybe it's.
Yakari. A Franco-Belgian comic about a young Sioux Native American boy.
You know what?
Was a TV series in '83.
Okay, so yes, I think this is it.
Yeah.
I saw this in English. Not these weird like Belgian people singing, but anyhow,
this one totally don't remember that one at all. Like the Jot one seemed vaguely familiar, but that I don't know what that one was. Never seen that
I
one.
used to watch really strange things as a kid, so I probably I also told you once that I kind of moved around, so I was able to absorb like programming from a lot of different countries and places, and I don't know what. That's also why I'm kind of weird, I guess. Anyhow,
yeah,
that music did suck, but I thought there was an American version. Is there like a English Yakari in English? Let me see if I can find that. Yakari English. See if I can find it. I can only find like newer ones. I can't find the old school one in English. What year is it supposed to be from?
Yeah, I'm only finding newer ones. Yeah, there's they did a newer version of it like in 2010.
Yeah, no, I don't want the 2010.
Yeah.
1983. Let's see if I can find that in English. Yeah, no, it's just we have all these like weird. I feel like I saw it in English, but what can I do? I guess there's no demand for it, so we'll never know. It's just like I told you about Superbook and the Flying House. I was like the only person that knew what that was.
I knew what that was. I remember that one.
Yeah, they used to have weird cartoons. The Jot one was supposed to like teach you lessons or something.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm trying to think, was there anything else that we wanted to touch upon, did touch upon? There's one thing that, like, I don't know, there's a rumor now. We keep hearing these rumors again. It's like a never-ending thing. But, like, there's more stuff piling up that, like, maybe James Gunn isn't, like, in a good situation. I don't know, you know. At some point, somebody like it's like with Alex Kurtzman. Somebody at some point will have to say if James Gunn is continuing or not. They're going to extend his contract beyond, you know, when it expires. You'll know he's staying, and if not, there by the time like you know Paramount even takes control of Warner Brothers, there's not going to be such a long time left on his contract, anyways.
Yeah,
I am curious to see what will happen with Kurtzman, though. Like if Ellison suddenly says I'm doing more business with Kurtzman, I will have lost some respect for that guy. I'm not gonna lie to you, Professor. Like if for me, Ellison, like the big test will be what happens now. If it's like I'm after all these years, I'm leaving Star Trek, then I'll be like, okay, well at least Ellison understands the problem. But if like he just said, "Oh, I'll give him an extension, I'll keep him more," it's one of those weird Kathleen Kennedy things. Like, "Oh, I'll just extend it for another year. I'll extend it for this and that." If they start doing that with like Kurtzman, not going to be a good sign for me.
Oh, not at all. No, that's bad news. Like, oof. Yeah, because you know what that means. That just means more Strange New Worlds and more of
I mean, they're still
Starfleet
making that
Academy,
shit, right? Are they
and-
still? I think they finished
no,
making
nothing
that.
is in active. Nothing is filming now. Everything that has been everything produced under Secret Hideout has finished filming. It's all in post production at this point. So that's it. There's nothing else being filmed. It's been pretty well established that all the sets have been torn down. Like, it's done. So,
All right. Well, let's see.
but as far as, whether or not he gets a contract or not after that, yeah, who knows?
Well, we'll see what happens. Is there anything that I missed or anything you wanted to bring up, Professor, before we
No,
go?
I don't think so. Not tonight. We'll definitely have plenty more to talk about on Thursday.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
Thursday, we're gonna be our
talk about
grand finale of Star Trek.
The finale of the first season.
I wonder if we're ever gonna see that second season.
If I were a betting man, I would say the second season does come out and they drop it. They're gonna do the Echo thing. They're gonna do what they did with Wonder Man and some of these others over at Marvel.
I think so.
They're gonna show up and they're gonna be like, here it is. Just dump it all in one night, get it over with, and then move on.
In the case of Starfleet Academy, I really hope they give me more time because, I cannot do a review for so many, and that's what they're counting on. I need the week to do that review. I can't do 8 episodes in one night. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing I can do. It's too much. It's too much, Professor.
It'll just have to be a review of the whole season. Just one video.
Just one long ass video.
Just one video for the whole season. Be like, ah.
Or I guess I could try to just churn out another video each time, but it's just annoying. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really prefer that they give us some more time. I want them to do this every week. It's too much suffering.
Just drag out the suffering, make it last longer. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
As far as James Gunn's stuff, I think from what I understand, his contract actually runs up through next spring. So he's got another year on his contract.
Right, but until Ellison actually takes the reins at Warner Brothers, after all the approvals and the regulatory and whatever, that could be another half a year to a year by itself. You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So well, they will, if they don't remember that this deal with Warner Brothers for Skydance and Paramount that are making for Warner Brothers, they need to close before the end of the year, or they have to start paying extra fees out to shareholders. So there's going to be a lot of push from them to try and get through the regulatory stuff and any other stuff that's going on that they need to do to get this shut down, get the deal made and locked in before the end of the year, because they don't want to have to pay out hundreds of millions of dollars more to shareholders because they didn't get the deal closed. So I think they're going to be pushing pretty hard to get that sealed up by fall if they can. But yeah, it takes a while. It takes a while to get through that regulatory stuff, and so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, well, we'll be back on Thursday with the last episode of this abomination that they call Star Trek Starfleet Academy. And we'll get to talk about that for a little while together.
That's true.
Whatever else.
Do you know of the people that were here today? Oh, here, there I see.
There you go.
On Rumble, shout out. A lot of people were here. We just don't see their names, but
yeah,
the ones that actually are more active in the chat: Elizabeth Quinn's Dude Bro Seth 420, Phantom Monk, Rogue 12, D-Real, and One Dirty Bird.
Yeah, and then over on YouTube, sorry, it's taking a second to load here. We had Deeple, Dostes 888, Mark Taylor, Destiny Captain, Fishbulb, Samsung, FKHC 2005, Hoot Owl, Trev Toon Art, Jervine Fatala, 7X Max, Marla Sharondoff, Adrian Veit, iLord Corey, JJ1109, Kodo Rob, Ron Donafero, Jonathan Conroy, Poker Ace, Badfoot, Georges Irex, Rob Altus, Argentum, Lasher, Yitis, Phantom Outsider, Murrockstro, Adam Gray, John Davidson, Tomahawk, 511, Caleb Levine, The Dead Man, Karate Werewolf, Smilex, The Real Headcase, and Dutch Gradient. Happy birthday, Smilex.
Yeah, happy birthday, Smilex. Well, I think we've done
Yeah.
our thing here,
That's
Professor.
it for tonight, yeah.
So you guys all have a good night, and we'll see you all here on Thursday, and we'll be talking about the finale of Star Trek Starfleet Academy. And that's it. We'll see you all there.
That'll do it. Yeah, take care.
Bye.